Hey guys, if you like this kind of content, please like, share the videos and subscribe the channel to show your support. Now let's start the video.
Inside the null realm, the formless expanse that exists outside of time and space, the domain where the Omni Kings hold court, something is deeply, fundamentally wrong. The two Xenos sit upon their floating thrones as they always have, their small frames belying the incomprehensible power that dwells within them. But even they feel it, a tension threading through existence like a hairline fracturing glass. The angels stand at attention, their perfect composure strained for the first time in eons. The Grand Priest, the being closest to the Omni Kings in all of existence. His gaze falls upon the timeline crystal. The artifact has existed since before the multiverse. A sphere of divine glass that pulses with the soft golden light of all possible futures, all recorded pasts, all the infinite tributaries of fate flowing across every universe simultaneously. It has never wavered. Now it is cracking. Hairline fractures spider across its surface. The golden light inside flickers, bleeds, turns a sickly ash-gray white. The Grand Priest takes one slow step forward, his hand reaching toward it, and then a voice tears through the null realm like a blade through silk. The era of childish gods is ending. The voice has no source. It comes from everywhere at once, from between the atoms of reality itself. No one moves. No one breathes. And then the timeline crystal explodes, and in the space where it was, there is only the echo of futures that can no longer be read. The summit of Mount Paozu had seen many battles. The ground heaves with every exchange. Craters chain across the mountainside, each one a testament to a blow that would have leveled a city. Goku and Broly clash at the center of a growing storm of their own making. They are not yet at their limits. That is the terrifying part. Broly has changed. The wild, uncontrollable fury that once defined him, that screaming, barely restrained primal force, has been tempered. His power still evolves in real time, still grows with every passing second. Goku fires a sharp ki blast to Broly's left, then vanishes, reappearing in the instant. Broly adjusts to redirect a crushing overhead blow into an uppercut, but Broly had already begun to move. His arm comes up. The impact sends a shockwave rolling across the mountains like a second dawn. Goku skids back across the ridge, laughing breathlessly, shaking out his arm. Goku said, "Broly, you're getting stronger every single second. Do you feel that? Every time I hit you, the next exchange is harder. It's incredible." Broly lowered his guard just slightly. A rare, careful smile crossed his face. Broly replied, "I am, trying not to destroy the planet this time." From a rocky outcropping 20 meters back, arms folded, expression radiating the precise, calibrated indifference of a man who absolutely refuses to admit he finds any of this impressive, Vegeta watched. Vegeta said dryly, "Kakarot's rubbing off on you. That's either a compliment or a warning. I haven't decided which." Broly glanced toward him. Vegeta met the look with a single raised eyebrow that communicated, in perfect Saiyan shorthand, "I am not here. I am merely observing. Don't make it awkward." Goku had just raised his hand, preparing to shift into blue, by the crackling blue-white energy beginning to gather around his fist when the world changed. It happened all at once. The sky tore. It tore like fabric giving way along a seam. And from the wound in the heavens poured light of a quality that had no business existing on Earth. Divine light. A portal opened, vast and perfectly circular, and descending through it, unhurried, immaculate, the Grand Priest. His face bore no warmth. He usually projected like a shield between himself and whatever chaos he was stepping into. This was a different face, an older one. The face of someone who had crossed the boundary between composure and something harder. Vegeta straightened instantly, every casual pretense gone. His eyes narrowed with the sharp instinct of someone who has survived long enough to recognize the difference between a powerful being arriving and a powerful being arriving with urgency. Vegeta said quietly. The Grand Priest himself came personally. Goku, for his part, waved. Goku said brightly, "Hey, Grand Priest, did Lord Zeno want to play again? We just finished a round, so the timing's actually pretty." The Grand Priest's gaze found him. Something in that look closed the distance between amusement and dread so fast that Goku stopped mid-sentence. The Grand Priest said, his voice carrying across the mountain without effort or elevation. "Son Goku, Vegeta, Broly, you are to accompany me at once. The Omni Kings have summoned you." A pause. Goku said carefully, "Not to play?" The Grand Priest replied, "No." The mountain fell silent. They had been to Zeno's palace before. Goku had been there under circumstances ranging from casual visits to the desperate final rounds of the Tournament of Power. Vegeta had stood in its halls with the calculated wariness of someone who understood exactly how dangerous a smile could be. Even Broly, newcomer to the politics of gods, had heard enough to know that the small being on the great throne was the most dangerous thing in all existence. But this was not the palace they remembered. The throne room had always been vast, an almost featureless expanse of pale tile stretching to walls too distant to see clearly. Now, floating galaxies drifted slowly overhead, like ornaments fully realized cosmic systems, stars and planets caught in lazy orbit, close enough that you could have reached up and touched them. The walls, that had once been bare, were lined with massive doors, each sealed, each engraved with a symbol. Symbols of things erased. The Xenos sat on their thrones. They were not smiling. That single detail hit harder than anything else in the room. The Xenos always smiled. Without the smile, they looked like what they actually were. Something ancient beyond measure. Both Xenos spoke together. "A bad thing is coming." Goku tilted his head, processing this. Goku said slowly, "Stronger than Beerus level bad?" The Xenos replied together, without hesitation, "Much stronger." Vegeta's eyes narrowed. Something cold settled in his chest. The particular feeling of standing at the edge of a cliff you hadn't seen coming. Vegeta said, his voice measured. "Then why not simply erase it?" The room fell silent. The angels exchanged glances that they would never acknowledge exchanging. Beerus, standing near the back, felt something he had not felt in a very long time. Something he had nearly forgotten was possible. Fear. The Grand Priest stepped forward. The Grand Priest began, his voice carrying the measured cadence. Long ago, before the multiverse was given its current shape, before the universes were numbered, and the gods appointed to tend them, there was only one being in existence, with the power to govern reality itself. He continued. His name was Aethernos. He was called the first guardian of reality, and he was not a god in the sense you understand the word. He was something older, something that existed in the space between what is and what could be. He enforced the laws of existence, not because he was commanded to, but because he believed in them, because he had shaped them, because to him, every universe, every life within it, every thread of potential and possibility was something sacred. The three Saiyans listened in silence. The Grand Priest said quietly, "But Aethernos and Lord Zeno did not agree on the nature of existence. Aethernos believed that life should evolve freely, that strength, conflict, struggle, survival, the endless upward reach of living things, pushing past their own limitations, that this was the highest expression of what existence could be. Lord Zeno believed in balance, in order, in peace." He continued. They fought. Lord Zeno won, and Aethernos was sealed, not erased, because even the Omni Kings found that impossible, but cast outside of existence itself, beyond the boundaries of reality, into the nothing that surrounds everything. A heavy silence followed. The Grand Priest said, and for the first time, something like reluctance crossed his voice. The seal is weakening. What was imprisoned beyond reality is returning, and it will not return as it was. He did not need to finish the sentence. The implication filled the throne room like smoke. It had spent millions of years alone in the void outside creation. It had evolved. It had waited, and now it was coming back. Vegeta was the first to break the silence. Vegeta said, stepping forward with the deliberate precision of someone who needed to keep moving or risk standing still too long with his own thoughts. I understand the threat. What I do not understand is what any of this has to do with us. 3 Saiyans mortals, by the standards of this palace, standing in the throne room of the Omni Kings, being told the seal of an ancient prison is breaking. What is it exactly that you expect us to do? The 2 Xenos looked at the 3 of them, and then, despite everything, they smiled. The Xeno said cheerfully, because you 3 are fun. Vegeta's left eye twitched. A vein appeared near his temple, Vegeta said, his voice achieving a frequency somewhere between restraint and detonation. That is your reason? The seal of an interdimensional prison is cracking. An ancient enemy that even you couldn't erase is returning, and the entirety of existence may be facing an extinction-level threat. And your criteria for selecting champions is that we are fun? The Grand Priest raised one hand with the smooth authority of someone who had extensive practice redirecting catastrophically dangerous conversations. The Grand Priest said quietly, no, that is merely how Lord Zeno expresses himself. Allow me to be precise. He turned to face them fully. The reason for Goku. The Grand Priest said, Son Goku, in all the history of existence, across every universe, every era, every being that has ever been born, grown, fought, and died, we have never encountered a being who breaks the boundaries of power with such consistency, and does so without the corruption that breaking such limits invariably produces. You grow stronger not because you hunger for dominance, but because you are genuinely, fundamentally incapable of being satisfied with what you already are. You are not driven by ambition, you are driven by joy. And joy, Son Goku, is something that cannot be sealed. Goku blinked. Process this. Goku said, so basically, I just really like fighting? The Grand Priest replied, among other things, yes, the reason for Vegeta. The Grand Priest said, Prince Vegeta, you understand what power costs. You have held it wrongly and learned the weight of that error. You carry the pride of a destroyed civilization not as a wound that festers, but as a responsibility that sharpens. You know what it is to be the last voice for something that no longer exists. You know what sacrifice means not as a concept, but as a choice made with full knowledge of what it takes from you. Vegeta said nothing. His jaw was tight. His gaze was steady. He was the prince of a dead world, and he had learned long ago that the only dignified response to the truth was to stand straight and meet it. The reason for Broly, the Grand Priest said, and Broly, you are something we have no precedent for, not in the history of divine creation. Your power does not grow toward a ceiling, it grows toward infinity. Every experience reshapes you. Every battle rewrites what you are capable of. You are not merely powerful, you are potential itself, given a name and a heartbeat. Broly absorbed this quietly, the way he absorbed most things, with a stillness that was not emptiness, but the careful attention of someone who had learned not to let strong feelings move too fast. The Grand Priest concluded, together, The three of you embody what is required. Instinct without corruption. Wisdom earned through failure. Evolution without boundary. These are not merely qualities. They are the three pillars of divine authority. A silence fell. The Xenos reached into the air, and the air responded. Three objects materialized, floating at chest height before the three Saiyans. They were not physical in any way that made straightforward sense. They were divine symbols, not written by any hand or carved by any tool. The first drifted toward Goku. It was all motion, a pattern of fluid, looping lines that seemed to be in constant movement, never beginning, never ending, like a river drawn in pure energy. The second moved to Vegeta. It was structured, sharp-edged, balanced between creation and negation. Two equal forces, held in precise and deliberate tension. The third turned toward Broly. It had no fixed shape. It was perpetually expanding, self-modifying, a symbol that was actively becoming something beyond what it had been the moment before. It looked like potential written in light. For a moment, all three symbols simply hovered. Then they moved and entered. The effect was instantaneous and total. Goku received the mark of motion. In the fraction of a second that the symbol merged with him, he felt something unlock that had no name in any language he knew. He felt the spaces between moments as physical places. He felt dimensions he had never known existed brush against him like the pages of a book being turned. Vegeta received the mark of judgment. It entered him like a key turning in a lock that had been waiting since before his birth. Not destruction, deeper than destruction. The authority to declare what should and should not be, and to enact that declaration on the level of reality itself. He felt it settle into him with the weight of a crown. Broly received the mark of infinity, and for a moment just one something vast and incomprehensible looked out through his eyes, and the angels who happened to be watching took an involuntary step backward. The palace shook, not from an explosion or a collapse, but from the fundamental restructuring of what three mortals were becoming. The walls trembled. The floating galaxies above oscillated in their orbits. The temperature of divinity in the room tripled, quadrupled, climbed past any meaningful measurement. The angels stared. Every one of them. In 12 universes of divine service, not one of them had ever seen anything like this. In the back of the throne room, Beerus had gone very, very still. His cat eyes were wide, fixed on the three Saiyans at the center of the expanding field of divine energy, and the thought that crossed his mind was one he had never entertained before. Beerus whispered to himself, barely audible, "Those mortals are becoming candidates for Omni Kings." He swallowed, then said nothing else. Time skipped several months. The infinite cathedral, it was a place defined entirely by what it allowed. In the cathedral, thought and reality were not separate processes. They were the same process. A stray idea could become architecture. An emotion could rewrite the temperature of the air. Belief, held strongly enough, could manufacture matter from nothing. It was, in short, the perfect training ground for beings who were learning to exercise authority over existence itself. It was also, as Vegeta noted on the first day, completely maddening. Goku's training void step. The Grand Priest stood at the center of an infinite white expanse, hands folded behind his back. The Grand Priest said, "Instant transmission is a technique of navigation. You locate a key signature, identify it as a destination, and transport yourself through the conventional dimensions of space to reach it. It is efficient, it is powerful, but it has limits. You can only go where something already is." Goku nodded. He knew instant transmission better than almost anything, had relied on it in situations where a fraction of a second was the difference between survival and oblivion. He wasn't sure what could improve on it. The Grand Priest said, "Void Step is not navigation. It is a different relationship with the concept of location entirely. You are moving through the gaps between spaces, the seams, the places that exist between one dimension and the next, between one moment and the following one. When you master Void Step, you are not traveling from here to there. You are simply arriving." Goku practiced for 3 weeks without sleeping. He moved, he failed, he moved again. 1,000 times, 10,000. He launched himself at the space between spaces and found only hard resistance. The universe's refusal to accommodate a mortal, attempting a divine technique. And then, on a day that felt no different from any other, something shifted. He didn't feel himself move. There was no sensation of acceleration. There was only here and then there. And in between those two moments, nothing. Not even darkness. Just the absence of the gap. He reappeared behind the Grand Priest, not with a thunderclap of displaced air, but silently, perfectly, as if he had always been standing there, and the universe had simply not gotten around to acknowledging it yet. The Grand Priest turned to look at him. His expression did not change. The Grand Priest said, "Well done." From Goku, that was sufficient to produce a grin that could have powered a small sun. Vegeta's training royal collapse. Vegeta's training took a different shape. Destruction was not a new concept to him. He had spent the first chapter of his life as an instrument of destruction. He understood force. He understood erasure. He had learned, in the years since, the difference between power used as purpose and power used as cruelty. But what the Grand Priest was asking him to learn went beyond destroying matter. The Grand Priest said, "Every god of destruction can reduce physical matter to nothing. That is powerful, but it is limited. Matter is only the surface of reality. Beneath matter, there are concepts, gravity, momentum, time, the structural laws that make existence coherent. Royal collapse operates at that level. It does not destroy the mountain. It erases the concept of the mountain. The mountain does not fall. It simply stops having ever been necessary." Vegeta stood before a mountain range in the cathedral, a construct of pure thought matter, as real as any physical range. He studied it for a long moment. Vegeta said slowly, "You're asking me to attack the idea of a thing rather than the thing itself." The Grand Priest replied, "I'm asking you to understand that at the level of divine authority, there is no difference." He failed many times. There was a particular difficulty in adjusting the orientation of destruction not outward toward a target, but downward through layers of reality to the conceptual bedrock beneath. It required precision. The raw force he had spent his life mastering was almost a liability here. He worked in silence. He always worked in silence. Pain had never required an audience. And then he found it the exact combination of will, technique, and divine authority, and released it against a single mountain peak. The mountain did not explode. It did not crumble. It stopped existing, retroactively, as if reality had revised its own records, and concluded that the mountain had been a clerical error. The space where it had been held no shape, no residue, no ghost of form. It was simply gone, in a way that was fundamentally different from destruction. Vegeta looked at his own hand for a long moment. Then he looked at the remaining mountains. Vegeta said quietly, "Now this is power." Broly's training infinite evolution. Broly's training was the most difficult to observe. The Grand Priest had anticipated struggle. Every student of divine technique struggled. The translation from mortal capacity to divine function was not a smooth one, and the greater the raw power, the more disruptive the adjustment. What he had not prepared for was Broly's particular variety of difficulty. The problem was not lack of power. The problem was that the divine energy flooding into Broly through the mark of infinity had no fixed state to settle into, because Broly himself had no fixed state. He was always changing. Every attack that landed during training sessions triggered an immediate adaptive response. His body, his power, his fundamental Kai signature restructuring around the new information. By the second impact of a given technique, it was measurably less effective. By the fourth, it was useless. Against a divine being, this was the most dangerous property in existence. Against his own training, it made consistency nearly impossible, because the Broly who began a training session was not quite the same being who finished it. The Grand Priest watched and recalibrated, session by session, week by week, and then, gradually, the adaptation began to stabilize. Broly stopped merely absorbing change and started directing it, choosing which adaptations to accept, which to refine, which to hold in reserve like cards in a hand. The technique that emerged from this process had no clean theoretical framework. The Grand Priest had never seen anything quite like it, and found, somewhat to his own discomfort, that he had to invent terminology to describe it. He called it infinite evolution, the total, active adaptation of an organism to any technique, force, or divine ability used against it, rendering that specific form of attack permanently and immediately ineffective upon recovery. Immunity, without limit. The Grand Priest stood quietly after the first successful demonstration and considered, with the careful honesty of a being who had spent eons in close proximity to the most powerful entities in existence, whether any other living being, mortal or divine, had ever possessed greater potential. He arrived at no certain conclusion, which was, itself, a kind of answer. The message came on an otherwise unremarkable morning in the cathedral. The Grand Priest had not finished his sentence when every angel in the space fell simultaneously to one knee. The Grand Priest said, "Lord Zeno wishes to personally oversee the next phase of training." The silence that followed was the loudest the three Saiyans had experienced in their time in the cathedral. Beerus turned a color that had no precise name in any human language. Whis placed one hand on his staff and looked meaningfully at a fixed point on the ceiling. No god of destruction had ever received this honor. No angel. In the entire history of divine existence, Zeno had never chosen to directly instruct anyone. The white void was different from the cathedral. It had no features, no floor, no ceiling, no horizon, but it had presence. The sense that every atom in your body was being observed and understood simultaneously. That everything you had ever been and everything you would ever become was fully legible to whatever stood at the center of this space. And then Zeno was simply there, not walking, the small, round figure that had always seemed so endearingly approachable, now existed in its proper context. Reality bent around him naturally, not because he was doing anything, because proximity to what he was had a gravitational effect on the structure of existence itself. Universes appeared in his periphery, flickered through cycles of creation and collapse, and vanished. Not destroyed, simply lived, completed, like breaths. Goku had fought opponents who made him feel small, but he had never, in his memory, felt the sensation of trying to breathe in the presence of something so fundamentally vast. Goku whispered, "This pressure, I can't even. It's like trying to breathe underwater." Vegeta said nothing. He stood straight. He breathed carefully, controlled. Broly simply closed his eyes, leaned into the pressure like a tree leaning into wind, and let his body adapt. Zeno looked at them, and then he began to teach. The truth about the Dragon Balls. The Super Dragon Balls were not, Zeno explained, made things. They were not crafted by the Dragon God or any other cosmic artisan. They were fragments, shards of something that had existed at the very beginning. before the concept of beginning had solidified into a reliable reference point. He called them the Origin Dragon Hearts, artifacts so primordially powerful that they did not grant wishes so much as they rewrote the record of what had been wished for, altering timelines retroactively, restructuring the past to accommodate the desired future. Not one timeline, all of them simultaneously. They had been unified once, a single complete sphere of pure causality. But during the first multiversal war, a conflict so fundamental that its full history had been excised from all divine records to prevent its repetition, they shattered. The pieces were scattered. What remained were the Super Dragon Balls, the truth about the multiverse. There are not 12 universes. There have never been only 12 universes. 12 is simply the number of universes on the floor that Zeno and his angels maintain, regulate, and occasionally erase. Below that floor, and above it, exist layers of reality that the term universe is not quite adequate to describe. Entire strata of existence, operating at different frequencies, different densities of causality, different relationships to the concepts of space and time. The angels cannot enter the higher realms, not because they are forbidden, but because they are, at their current level of divine development, not coherent enough. The higher realms require a quality of existence that even the Grand Priest did not possess in full. Something in those realms, Zeno said quietly, looking at something none of them could see, had begun to move. The three Saiyans absorbed this in silence, each in their own way. It was deep in what passed for night, in the infinite cathedral, the space having been configured to respect mortal biological rhythms. A concession the Grand Priest had made without comment when he sought a private audience with Lord Zeno. The two stood in the white void, and for a long moment neither spoke. The Grand Priest said at last, his voice low, "My lord, I find myself compelled to raise a concern. Perhaps we are further along in this than is wise. Mortals receiving divine marks, being trained in techniques beyond the scope of any appointed god, being prepared, it seems, for roles that have never existed before in the history of the multiverse." He paused. The Grand Priest continued carefully. "Perhaps we should not involve them any further. Perhaps there is another path. Perhaps this is a risk that..." Zeno said, "It's too late." The Grand Priest nodded slowly. He had known, perhaps, before he asked. He opened his mouth to respond, and then reality cracked. The space above and to the left of them, the empty, featureless white of the void that had no surface and no edge, split open. A black line appeared, running diagonally across nothing, and widened. It was not a portal. This was something else. This was the kind of opening that appears when something on the other side has stopped asking for permission. A wound in reality, the kind of damage that, once inflicted, does not simply close. The temperature of the void dropped, a quality of wrongness spreading outward from the crack like ink in water. Every angel in the cathedral materialized in the void instantaneously. Wings spread, divine energy flared, and every face was afraid. From the crack in reality, slowly, a figure walked through, tall, broad-shouldered, moving with the particular economy of motion that belonged to beings who had not needed to hurry in a very long time. Eyes that were not any color found in the conventional spectrum of light white, pure white. Behind his head, a halo floated. He looked around the void with the calm, comprehensive attention of someone who has rehearsed this moment for longer than most civilizations have existed. His eyes found Zeno. He smiled. The figure said, and his voice was quiet, almost gentle, and absolutely terrifying, "Hello, Zeno." The Grand Priest's composure cracked. The Grand Priest said, "Impossible." Zeno looked at the figure who had stepped through the wound in reality. He was looking at Eternos the way someone looks at a memory they had not expected to encounter. Zeno said cheerfully, with a particular tone he used for things that had returned after an absence. "You're back." Eternos looked at him. He spoke. Not loudly. The words did not need volume. They carried the weight of everything he had accumulated in exile, every eon of evolution, every technique drawn from the forbidden darkness outside creation. Every moment of silence in which he had rehearsed this exact conversation. He spoke of what he had been. The first guardian. The one who had stood in the empty void before the multiverse existed, and had watched the first sparks of existence kindle themselves into something. He had been there for the first life, the first death, the first being that looked at the world around it and decided to fight for its continued existence. He had loved all of it. That was the part that the histories had not preserved. Eternos had not been a neutral force, a clockwork mechanism of cosmic maintenance. He had cared about existence, had believed in it, had fought for it against the encroaching chaos that pressed against the boundaries of reality from the outside. And then he had watched Zeno erase it. Entire universes, entire civilizations, billions of years of evolution, intelligence, culture, love, war, art, discovery gone, not because they had grown dangerous, but because Zeno had found them unsatisfactory, had grown bored, or tired, or had simply decided, with the arbitrary and unchallengeable authority of a god who answered to no one, that they should not continue. Eternos had protested, had argued, had demanded accountability from a being who had never encountered the concept, had asked what principle, what purpose, what vision of existence could justify the casual erasure of everything that had managed to exist within it. He had received no satisfactory answer, because there was none. So Eternos had fought, and Zeno had won. And Eternos had been cast beyond the edge of reality, into the nothing that exists outside everything, where there is no light, no matter, no causality, no company, just the void. He had spent that time wisely. Every technique that could be learned in complete isolation, he had learned. Every forbidden principle that exists in the space outside creation, the forces that predate divine authority. He had evolved past every limitation he had carried into exile, past limitations he had not known he possessed, past the very ceiling of what divine power in this multiverse was currently capable of reaching. He had come back because he had decided, in the patient and absolute way of someone who has had millions of years to refine a decision, that existence deserved better than a child with unlimited power and no accountability. He had come back to make that case, and if necessary, to enforce it. The Grand Priest moved first. His positioning placed him between Eternos and the Omni Kings in the same instant that the decision formed, not thought. His divine energy expanded outward, filling the void around him in a sphere of absolute authority. Eternos watched him with an expression that contained no hostility. The two Xenos raised their small hands toward Eternos. Together, in unison, the erasure reached toward Eternos like light, and stopped, as if it had encountered a surface that simply did not accept it. The erasure energy hung in the air for a fraction of a second. The most powerful force in the multiverse stalled and then quietly, completely, ceased to function. Everyone froze. Eternos lowered his gaze from where the erasure had halted to the two Xenos, and his expression was not triumphant. It was something closer to tired. Eternos said quietly, "Millions of years, Zeno. I had nothing to do but think about every technique your existence has produced, and learn how to exist beyond its reach. I did not return without preparation." He raised one hand, and from his palm spread the technique he had developed in the void, null evolution, the capacity to render any divine ability permanently and completely non-functional upon encountering it. The Grand Priest charged. He was the most powerful angel in existence. His divine energy was a force that operated on levels that made the power of gods of destruction look like candlelight. He moved through the void like a law of physics, both hands driving forward in a blow that contained the full weight of his position. The collision fractured reality. Eternos adapted. The evolution was visible, his power, signature shifting, restructuring, climbing in response to Xeno's output, with the relentless upward drive of a being whose only remaining limitation was the height of what he was opposing. Each exchange left him stronger. Each wave of Xeno's divine authority that he absorbed and transformed raised the ceiling of what null evolution could encompass. The Omni Kings pressed harder. Eternos kept rising. The Grand Priest saw the moment it turned. He had been watching with the comprehensive attention of someone who analyzes everything even as it destroys them. He had cataloged every exchange of the battle, every technique deployed, every adaptive response, every increment of escalation. He understood the arithmetic of what was happening. The Omni Kings could not win. Not because Eternos was more powerful in any absolute sense, but because null evolution had reached a point where it had incorporated enough of their specific divine authority that their continued attacks were accelerating his adaptation more than they were inflicting damage. They were, in the worst possible irony, making him stronger by continuing to fight. The Grand Priest made a decision in the space between one breath and the next. He moved toward the three Saiyans standing at the edge of the battle. He placed himself between them and the battlefield, and he spread his arms. The Grand Priest said, "You three, listen to me carefully, because I will not have a second opportunity to say this." They listened. Goku's fists were clenched so hard the knuckles had gone white. Vegeta's expression was carved stone. Broly had gone absolutely still. The Grand Priest continued, "What is happening here is not a battle that can be won by power, not by Xeno's power, and not by yours, not yet. Eternos is something that the current framework of existence does not have a solution for. His technique consumes every divine response directed at him and converts it into an argument for why he cannot be stopped." The Grand Priest said, "But you are not part of the current framework. You are the next one. The marks you carry are not titles or honors. They are potential. The potential for a form of divine authority that has never existed before, because the circumstances that would require it have never existed before. Your instinct, your wisdom, your evolution. Those three things together can reach where nothing that exists can currently reach." His voice did not waver. He was bleeding divine light from both sides of his form now, the barrier consuming him faster than it was consuming itself. The Grand Priest said quietly, "You three are now the future of existence. Do not waste it on grief. There will be time for that later, or there will not, in which case it won't matter. Either way." The barrier fractured. Eternos was there, on the other side of where it had been. He had not accelerated, had not rushed. He had simply arrived. The Grand Priest turned to face him without flinching. The strike was precise, efficient, without cruelty, which was, somehow, the hardest part to witness. The Grand Priest fell. The angels, those still conscious, did not scream. Eternos turned. The two Xenos stood before him, no longer vast, no longer cosmic, not diminished, but completed. He struck them, both at once, with the full weight of millions of years of evolved divine power, and the specific, terrible precision of someone who had rehearsed this moment since before most of the current multiverse existed. The Omni Kings fell. Reality responded immediately. Not catastrophically, not yet. But the structural integrity of the multiverse, the deep architecture that Xeno's continued existence had anchored, began to shift. The foundations of something incomprehensibly vast began, slowly, to loosen. Xeno lay in the rubble of his burning palace. Around him, fragments of the floating galaxies had come to rest, small suns guttering, orbital mechanics failing without the divine anchor that had maintained them. His form was fading. His eyes found Goku, found Vegeta, found Broly. Xeno said, his voice small and enormous simultaneously. Now, it's your turn. And then he disintegrated. He came apart into cosmic light, and the light spread outward through the remains of the palace, illuminating every shattered wall, every fallen angel, every fragment of every galaxy he had carried with him. And then dimmed, and then was gone. Silence. The multiverse, without its anchor, began to tremble. Eternos stood amid the wreckage of the palace and looked at the 3 Saiyans across it. He looked at them for a long moment, Eternos said, his voice carrying across the settling silence of the palace. Come then, future kings. But before Eternos could take another step, a light, the color of every sunrise that had ever happened across every universe, all of them at once, compressed into a single, quietly radiant glow, rising from the place where the 2 Xenos had fallen. The cosmic light that had been their disintegration had not entirely dispersed. 2 currents of divine luminescence, one for each Xeno, finding each other in the rubble and intertwining. Slowly, Goku took a step toward it. The light pulsed once, gently, and he stopped. Not pushed back, just acknowledged, as if whatever remained of the Xenos had noticed him and needed a moment. Within the light, 2 shapes, small, round. 2 voices, like a sound coming from the other side of a door that is slowly closing. The first Xeno said softly, speaking to the second, "We made a mistake." A pause. The second Xeno replied, "We made many. Which one?" The first Xeno said, "Keeping all of it for ourselves. The power, the authority, the thrones. We never asked if we were the right ones to hold them. We never thought to ask." Silence. The second Xeno said quietly, "We chose them because they were fun. But the Grand Priest was right. There was a better reason, and we knew it, and we said it wrong." The first Xeno replied, "Then let us say it right, now, while we still can." The 2 currents of light drew together, completely merged. A single luminescence now, brighter and steadier than either had been alone. It rose, slow and unhurried, and then it turned toward 3 Saiyans standing in the rubble of a shattered divine palace, covered in the aftermath of a battle they had witnessed, but not yet been allowed to fight. Goku felt it before he saw it coming. A warmth. Both Xenos spoke together, one final time. "Son Goku, Vegeta, Broly, we were not good kings. We were powerful ones. There is a difference, and we learned it too late, and it cost everything. But the power was always real. Take it, not as a gift, as a debt we owe you, and every universe we were supposed to protect, and failed." The light descended. It hit all 3 of them simultaneously. The effect was nothing like receiving the divine marks. This was everything the 2 Omni Kings had ever been, the full accumulated weight of divine authority spanning the entire history of the multiverse, released without reservation into 3 bodies that had been specifically, painstakingly prepared to receive it. Goku threw his head back. A sound came from him that was not a scream but something beneath, screaming below the threshold where language operates. His feet left the ground. The divine mark on his chest blazed so bright it cast shadows in every direction. Vegeta dropped to one knee. not in weakness in the automatic response of a body managing an input that is larger than its current architecture. His hands found the ground, his teeth clenched. His expression was not pain, exactly. It was the face of a man being rebuilt from somewhere very deep, something being added to the foundation rather than the surface. Broly simply stood, perfectly still in the eye of a storm that was tearing reality apart around him in a 6-meter radius. His eyes were open and completely blank, not vacant, but full, too full. Palace, what remained of it, could not hold. Walls that had survived the battle with Eternos gave way now. The floating galaxies above, already destabilized, shattered completely. Their light rained down in slow golden spirals. Eternos did not move. He watched. His expression had not changed the complex, composed attention of someone who has planned for many things, and not quite planned for this. The last of the Xeno's light entered the 3 Saiyans. And then, the ground cracked outward from where Goku stood in a perfect circle, radiating in every direction like a starburst, and the air above him tore, upward, as if the sky itself was being pulled aside to make room for something that would not fit inside conventional dimensions. Energy poured off him in waves, not ki, not divine power as the multiverse had ever expressed it, but something that was both and neither. Something that the 3 marks on his body were conducting upward and outward, and in directions that had no names in any cosmological framework currently in use. His hair moved, changed, shifted through colors that had no precedent, not the gold of Super Saiyan, not the blue of God Ki, not anything that had come before something new, climbing toward a form that had never existed until this moment, had never needed to exist until this moment. Beside him, Vegeta's aura detonated, royal, precise, devastating. Every controlled, disciplined technique he had ever mastered, rising simultaneously to meet the divine power flooding through him, synthesizing with it. The mark of judgment burning on his skin like a brand, and then simply becoming part of him, not an external mark, but an internal truth. And Broly roared. Not with rage, not with the out-of-control fury of the legendary Super Saiyan, aware of every molecule of change happening to it, directing it, shaping it with the mark of infinity, acting as both engine and compass. The shockwave from the 3 of them combined sent cracks through dimensions that had never been touched before. Even Eternos raised one arm, not to attack, to shield his eyes. The light peaked, held, a moment that lasted either an instant or forever, and then it settled. The dust cleared slowly, drifting in the absence of any wind. 3 figures, transformed, not arrogance, not aggression, but the specific quality of beings who have just come into alignment with what they were always supposed to be. The divine marks were gone from their skin, absorbed, integrated, no longer decorations on the surface, but the deepest structure of what they now were. Their new forms had not yet been named. The multiverse had not yet had time to develop language for them. That language would come, in time. For now, it was enough that they existed. Eternos lowered his arm. He looked at them across the rubble of everything that had been. His expression shifted subtle, but real. Something in the set of his jaw. Something closer to recognition. Goku raised his head. His eyes opened. They were different. Not in color, in quality, in depth. The eyes of someone who can now see layers of reality that he simply could not see before, and who is choosing, in this first moment of that new sight, to look directly at the most dangerous thing in existence. He simply met Eternos' gaze across the ruins of the palace, across the broken crystals of erased universes, and he said nothing. He didn't need to. Behind him, Vegeta straightened to his full height, and Broly's breathing settled into a slow, deliberate rhythm, the controlled calm of something vast, learning to live inside its own boundaries. 3 Saiyans, 3 marks now gone, 3 transformations, unnamed and unprecedented, standing in the silence where 2 gods used to be. Ready. The dust stopped moving. The universe was waiting to be told what to do. 3 figures stood in the ruin of the palace. The marks were gone from their skin, not erased. Folded inward, become the deepest grammar of what they now were. Above them, the last galaxies died in slow golden spirals. The multiverse trembled at its roots. Across the ruins stood Eternos. He had watched 2 gods pour everything they were into 3 mortals. He had seen what those mortals became. His eyes moved from one to the next. Eternos said, "I learned to unmake everything this multiverse can produce, and here you are wearing something I have never seen." He took a step. The rubble did not crack beneath him. It yielded. Eternos said, "Let us see if it is real, or only loud." Goku moved first. No flicker, no sound. He was at the edge of the ruin, and then his fist was buried over Eternos' chest. Null Evolution activated the technique that had negated gods of destruction, the host of angels, the erasure of the Omni Kings themselves. It reached for the mechanism of the strike to unmake it. There was nothing to unmake, no technique, no framework. The blow was simply true, and Null Evolution had no authority over what was true. Eternos went through the wall. He had not been moved in 11,000 years. He rose from the crater, looked at the dent in his body, and something shifted in that ancient, motionless face. Eternos said, "So, that's what he meant. The next framework." He looked up. Eternos said, "Then, I'll become one that contains it." Broly met him. The others knew it without a word. The thing that made Eternos unbeatable was not power. It was that his power learned. Every force thrown at him became, on the next exchange, proof that he couldn't be stopped. Only Broly had ever been the same kind of thing. They collided, and reality reported the impact to dimensions that had never been touched. Eternos adapted. The second blow should have been weaker. The fourth, useless. Broly adapted to the adaptation. The second blow was harder. The fourth did some damage to Eternos' shoulder. An old star light bled into the void. Eternos staggered. For the first time in his exile, his evolution had met a faster one. They broke apart, restructuring around each other in real time, 2 engines of pure adaptation climbing in a spiral that should not have been possible. And Broly, exchange by exchange, began to win it. Eternos had evolved alone. 1,000,000 years against nothing but his own conviction. Broly had evolved against opponents, against Goku, against Vegeta, against gods. Collision had taught him the one thing solitude never could. The next form is always the one your enemy didn't see coming. Eternos slowed. Broly did not. Eternos said, and something new was in his voice. "You, not the one who erases, not the one who judges. You, the one with no ceiling." Broly answered the way he answered everything. Broly said, "Then stop running from me." And he arrived everywhere Eternos' evolution tried to go before it got there, until the most dangerous property in existence had nowhere left to run. The engine that unmade gods was caged. It still worked, it just couldn't grow anymore, which meant it could be beaten. Goku came from the seams. Null evolution could negate anything that arrived from a point in space, but there was no point of origin for a blow that came from the absence of a gap. Goku wasn't here and then there. Between those 2 facts, he was nowhere the technique could find, and the fist that snapped Eternos' head sideways had, as far as Null Evolution could tell, never been thrown. Eternos reached for him. Goku was already behind his shoulder. He turned. Goku was inside the turn. He hit him from the gap between intention and motion, from a dozen places that were one place. And he was laughing. Goku said, "1,000,000 years, and you only ever learn to beat things that come from somewhere." Eternos answered through his teeth, "Then I'll learn the places between." Goku vanished into a seam. His voice came from everywhere. Goku said, "Yeah, you will." The next strike landed before the sentence ended. Faster. Pressed from two impossible sides. Eternos did the only thing a being built around one perfect weapon can do when it fails. He committed everything to null evolution, poured the full authority of his exile into a sphere of absolute negation, the technique that had stopped the erasure of the Omni Kings, the work of 1,000,000 years. Vegeta had been waiting for it. He had not thrown a single blow. He had stood at the edge of the ruin, watching not the fight, the technique, studying the way the Grand Priest had taught him to study a mountain, not its surface. The concept beneath it, the thing that had to be true for it to exist. And Eternos had just shown him all of it. Vegeta raised one hand. Vegeta said, "A wall nothing can pass, 1,000,000 years of work." The sphere pulsed, absolute. Vegeta said, "I'm not going to pass it." Royal collapse didn't strike Eternos. It didn't strike the sphere. It went down through the surface, through the force, to the idea of null evolution itself. And Vegeta judged it. Vegeta said, "I erase the idea of it." The sphere didn't shatter. It stopped working. Reality revised its own records and decided null evolution had never been a viable option, not at any point in the 1,000,000 years he'd spent building it. The masterpiece didn't fall. It unhappened. And Eternos, whose entire returned self was built around the one thing that made him untouchable, felt, for the first time since the universes were numbered, what it was to be a thing that could be reached. He did not despair. That was the measure of him. He tore off the broken halo behind his head and let the thing beneath it burn the raw, primal force from before he was ever a guardian, from before he believed in anything. He came at them with all of it. He struck Goku through 3 layers of reality. He drove his fist into Broly's chest with force enough to end a universe, and Broly's evolution screamed to hold it. He turned on Vegeta with the fury of a being that had finally found what wounded it, and drove the prince to one knee in a crater that swallowed half the ruin. For one suspended moment, it was not clear they would survive him. But they were not 3 fighters anymore. Goku stopped returning to a point. He returned to all of them at once, every gap around Eternos, his at the same instant. Vegeta stopped judging the technique and judged the distance, collapsing every road of retreat until there was nowhere for the ancient being to go. And Broly stopped matching him and surpassed him. His power had never had a ceiling. For one moment, the potential stopped being a promise and became a fact, and he rose past Eternos in a single silent climb. The 3 struck together. Motion from inside the instant. Judgment that left nowhere to stand. Infinity, larger than the thing it hit. It had no name. The multiverse hadn't had time to make one. It caught Eternos in the center of the void, with the full weight of everything 2 dead gods had poured into 3 prepared vessels. When the light cleared, Eternos was on his knees. The armor was cracked along every seam, light bleeding from him into the settling void. The white fire in his eyes had not gone out. It had only steadied. Goku landed in front of him. He did not gloat. He had never known how. Goku said, "You weren't all wrong. About Zeno, nobody ever made him answer. You spent 1,000,000 years in the dark just so somebody would." Eternos lifted his gaze. Something almost like peace crossed his face. Eternos said, "Then be better than he was. That is all I ever asked of existence." A pause. Finish it. I have been tired for a very long time." Vegeta stepped forward. Vegeta said, "You won't be erased. Not the way he erased your universes. Flat. Final. You'll be allowed to stop." They moved as one instinct, and judgment, and infinity, converging on a single point. Aethernos closed his eyes. He did not resist. The first guardian of reality, who had loved existence enough to be cast into the dark rather than stop fighting for it, was gone in one soundless flare of old star light. The tremor in the roots of the multiverse stilled. It was over. The Grand Priest lay where he had fallen, his light gone still. The angels were down across the wreckage. Behind the warped doors, the symbols of every universe Zeno had ever erased burned faintly in the dark. Goku looked at his hands. The power was still in him, vast, finite, and already draining, like a tide let in all at once and beginning to recede. They did not gather anything. They did not speak a wish. Goku reached through the seams, Vegeta through the conceptual bedrock, Broly through the infinite edge of what could be, and together they took hold of what had happened and revised it. The Grand Priest's light began to move again. No gasp, no jolt, it simply resumed, as if his fall had been rewritten into rest, and rest into return. He looked at the three of them. He saw what they wore. He saw the multiverse steadying. The Grand Priest said, "Well done." The angels rose, current by current. Then Vegeta turned to the warped doors, and the universes burning behind them. As the last of them rekindled, the borrowed power left the three kings in one long, quiet exhale, its work done, its debt paid, its tide gone fully out. The celebration, it was Goku's idea. "If we're doing this," he said, grinning through the exhaustion, "everybody should be here." So the palace was made whole, and into it came everyone. The Z fighters arrived in a startled cluster, Gohan and Piccolo, Krillin nearly falling over, 18 catching him without looking, Bulma demanding to know where in the multiverse they were. Beerus took one look at 3 Saiyans standing where the Omni Kings used to stand, and decided he had known the whole time. From Universe 11 came the Pride Troopers Toppo, Dispo, and Jiren, who looked at Goku across the hall and inclined his head a single degree. From every team that had ever entered the Tournament of Power came fighters' entire universes, erased and alive again, standing in the light. The largest gathering of fighters in the history of existence. And for 1 hour, it was not a battlefield, it was a feast. Goku climbed onto a fallen pillar. Goku said, "Okay, everybody. You're probably wondering what happened." "We absolutely are," Bulma shouted. Goku laughed, then went quieter. "Zeno gave us his power. All of it. Both of them. Everything they ever were." He held up his hand. "And we used it. Beating Aethernos. Bringing you all back. Fixing the universes they erased. It's gone now. We're just us again. Strong, but not gods." Vegeta, arms folded against a restored wall, added dryly, "Which means the next fool who threatens existence will have to settle for being beaten by mortals, as is tradition." A ripple of laughter. Even Jiren almost smiled. Broly did not laugh. He stood at the edge of it, where he was most comfortable, and his attention was very far away. The Grand Priest drifted to his side. The Grand Priest said, "Something weighs on you." Broly was quiet for a moment. Broly said, "Chilai and Lemo, they're on Vampa. I left to spar and never came back, and then all of this happened." He looked at his hands, hands that had just surpassed the strongest being in creation. "She worries. If too much time has passed, she'll think I'm dead." He looked up, plain and unguarded. Broly said, "I want to go home. I want her to know I'm alive." The Grand Priest regarded him this being of infinite potential, asking only to ease the fear of a friend on a barren rock at the edge of nowhere. It was, he thought, the most reassuring thing he had seen all day. This was what they had crowned. The Grand Priest said, "Of course." He raised a hand, and the air folded. The Grand Priest said, "Give them my regards, Broly. You have earned the visit." Broly inclined his head to Goku and Vegeta. "Thank you, I will return," and was gone. Away, as it turned out, at exactly the wrong moment. The celebration carried on. Goku was 3 plates into an eating contest with Beerus that had become a minor diplomatic incident. Bulma had cornered Vegeta and was poking him in the chest, demanding to know whether King of Everything came with better living arrangements. He was pretending to be annoyed. He wasn't. Then the temperature of the room changed. Not physically. The way it had changed the night Eternos came. A quality of wrongness, spreading from nowhere. The laughter died near the center first, then rippled outward until the largest gathering in the history of existence stood in total, instinctive silence. The Grand Priest's head snapped up. Every angel went rigid. Because something was here, far beyond the multiverse, beyond the layers Zeno had described. The ancient eye in the nameless dark had opened again. This time it had not only watched, it had sent a hand. Goku was already moving, so was Jiren, but the thing was not looking at Goku. It was looking at Vegeta. It tilted its impossible head the way a being studies what it was sent to remove, and it spoke in a voice that did not bother to travel through air. "The judge, you first." Vegeta had time for exactly one thing. He turned not to run, never to run, to put himself between the thing and Bulma. He planted his feet. The prince of a dead world, facing a death he did not understand with the only thing that had never once failed him. He stood straight, and he met it. He did not have time for anything else. The mysterious figure just appeared suddenly and killed Vegeta. Vegeta. Goku's voice tore through the hall. He was across the room in an instant, not void step, just speed, just desperation, and caught Vegeta before he hit the ground. The prince's eyes were already half closed. His hand, out of some last stubborn instinct older than thought, closed hard around Goku's arm. His lips moved. Whatever he said only to Goku, only once, and the hall would never know it. Then the Prince of all Saiyans went quiet. Gohan's entire body trembles as he watches it happen. He can't understand what just happened. Who is this person? How did they appear? Even the gods of destruction stand frozen, speechless. Champa breaks the silence. Who is this? He killed a Saiyan. How dare he? Zeno stands up, furious and confused. Grand Priest, he interfered and killed a Saiyan. You know what you must do. The Grand Priest bows slightly. My lord, I am fully aware of what needs to be done. He floats down, appearing right in front of the mysterious Saiyan. You know what you've done, don't you? The Saiyan angel scoffs. Are you blind? Did you not see what I just did, and still you're asking me? The Grand Priest narrows his eyes. I don't know how you survived or how you managed to come here, but this is where your existence ends. Do you understand, Goroki? At that moment, we finally learn his name. The mysterious warrior reveals himself an angel Saiyan known as Goroki. Goroki smirks confidently. That's right. I came here for this very moment. I've waited far too long for this day. And for you, Grand Priest. The Grand Priest wastes no time. His aura ignites as he boosts his power and fires a sharp ki blast straight at Goroki. But to everyone's shock, Goroki stops it effortlessly. Not only that, he counters with a single brutal punch that sends the Grand Priest flying across the arena. The Grand Priest crashes into the ground but quickly rises to his feet, stunned and furious. Is this a joke? He blocked my attack and struck me. Impossible. With a glare, he increases his power even further, his energy shaking the entire world of void. But at that same moment, Goku's rage explodes. As he sees Vegeta's severed head lying on the ground, his entire body trembles with anger. No, Vegeta. You had no right to do that. I won't forgive you. Goku charges at Goroki at full speed and throws a devastating punch. But Goroki doesn't even bother looking at him. He casually tilts his head, dodging the attack, then slams his fist into Goku's stomach. The impact sends Goku flying like a rag doll, smashing him into the rocky formations at the edge of the arena. Goroki laughs coldly. Foolish Saiyan, your turn to die will come soon enough. Don't be so impatient. I have business with him first. He points at the Grand Priest. Suddenly, the Grand Priest appears again, but this time in his final form. His aura shifts, the entire arena vibrating from his divine power. Even the angels, who rarely show emotion, are visibly shaken. Whis mutters in disbelief. I don't understand. Who is this being that Father has to unleash so much power against? This is terrifying. I've never seen Father like this. Mojito adds, whoever he is, he's far beyond anything we've imagined. His strength is overwhelming. The Grand Priest steps forward, his expression turning cold. Goroki, your end will be decided here and now. With that, he lunges forward, striking Goroki with a heavy divine blow. But Goroki catches the attack with frightening ease, barely moving an inch. He laughs quietly. What did you think? That I came here unprepared? That I would stand before you without a plan? The Grand Priest scowls. No matter how strong you are, you cannot surpass me. Enough of this. Take this seriously. He raises his hand and unleashes his most powerful ki blast, the kind that could erase an entire universe in an instant. It rockets toward Goroki with overwhelming force, followed by a massive explosion that shakes the entire void. Smoke fills the arena. The Grand Priest exhales slowly. I told you, you would regret opposing me. But suddenly, Goroki appears right in front of him, completely unharmed. You thought that little attack could kill me, fool. Then he draws his blood sword, a weapon pulsing with dark, corrupt, angelic energy. The Grand Priest's eyes widen in horror. What is that weapon? Before he can move, with a single slash, Goroki severs the Grand Priest's head. The body drops. Then Goroki fires a ki blast directly at it, turning the Grand Priest, the mightiest of angels, into pure dust. A terrifying silence spreads across the arena. Every angel trembles. The impossible has happened. The one being they believed could never fall has been killed. Goroki turns his gaze toward the others. Well then, that's done. Now it's your turn. But before he can move, a violent surge of power erupts from behind him. Goku stands back up bloodied, furious, trembling with rage. His aura shifts wildly, cracking the ground beneath his feet. You've gone too far. Energy pours out of him like a storm, his eyes sharpen with pure fury. You took Vegeta. You killed the Grand Priest. Goku steps forward, his power rising higher and higher. And now, you're going to pay for all of it. Goku's aura rages like a storm as he shouts, I'll make sure you die the worst death imaginable. Goroki raises an eyebrow, smirking. Oh, right. I almost forgot. I killed your friend, didn't I? Goku's voice trembles with fury. You have no idea what you've done. Your death won't be quick. I'll make it painful. The angel sighs and laughs softly. Painful? My death? Don't make me laugh. I'm not wasting my time on someone like you. I have someone else to deal with. Goku charges again, roaring as he throws another attack. And again, Goroki blocks it effortlessly. I told you, Goroki says coldly. It seems you still don't understand. A brutal strike slams into Goku's chest. He's sent flying across the arena, crashing violently and rolling across the floor, blood dripping from his mouth. Gohan screams, "No, Dad!" He rushes forward to help, but before he even reaches Goku, another Angel Saiyan appears, landing in front of Goroki. "Goroki," the newcomer says calmly, "leave these insects to me. Go deal with Zeno. I'll take care of everything here." Goroki nods. "Remember this, Kura. Not one of them is allowed to interfere in my battle." Another Angel Saiyan arrives as well. "Don't worry. Go confront Zeno. We'll handle the rest." With that, Goroki walks toward the Omni King. Gohan clenches his fists and charges at Goroki from behind, but suddenly, Kura appears and grabs him by the face. "You didn't listen, did you?" Kura growls. "Didn't understand what Goroki told you, or what I told you." With a chilling grin, he smashes Gohan with a devastating blow. Gohan is thrown across the arena, unable to stop it, crashing hard. Before he can even breathe, Kura appears in front of him again. "I'll end your suffering right here." He grabs Gohan by the neck, squeezing tightly. "You're going to feel real pain." And with a horrifying sound, Kura rips Gohan's head clean off. Gohan dies instantly. Beerus freezes in shock. "No, what is happening? I won't forgive this. I'll destroy all of you." But Whis steps in front of him. "Stop, Lord Beerus. You saw what they did. Do you really think you can face them? They're far beyond your strength." Beerus growls, shaking with anger. "I know, Goroki killed the Grand Priest, but if I sit here doing nothing, he'll kill everyone else too. How can I just watch? Tell me." Whis shakes his head. "No, Lord Beerus. If you go, you'll be killed as well. Stay back. Zeno-sama will handle this. He knows exactly what needs to be done." Meanwhile, Goroki finally stands before the Omni King. "Well, Zeno, how are you? I'm sure you're very happy to see me again." Zeno's eyes widen. You were wiped out 5,000 years ago. How are you still alive? Did I make a mistake? You're still alive? No, this can't be happening." But then his expression instantly turns cold. "Mistake? Your mistakes have no count, no limit. And now the time has finally come for you to pay for every single one of them. And there's only one way. I have to kill you." "Cool." Krillin shouts in fear. "I can't believe it. He killed Vegeta and Gohan. How is this even possible? Who the hell is this guy?" Piccolo narrows his eyes. From the way he talks, he's definitely some ancient enemy of the gods. And it's clear Zeno-sama and the Grand Priest know him very well. Frost smirks. "Interesting. I was planning to do all this myself, but looks like he made my job easier." Frieza growls. "What's the meaning of all this nonsense?" Kura steps forward, aura shaking the ground. "Listen up. None of you will interfere between Goroki and Zeno. Your fight is with me." Then Angel Saiyan Kaido laughs and joins him. "And I'm here too. I deserve a chance to kill them as well. I'm not letting you have all the fun alone." Jiren clenches his fists and says in a deep voice, "You two made a big mistake stepping into our battle. Now you'll pay for it." Kura smirks. "Oh, really? Then why don't you come and try? I'm waiting." In the next second, Jiren powers up, the entire ground cracking beneath him. "Get ready. You're going to regret everything you've done." Jiren charges. Kura dodges easily, but that was only an illusion. The real Jiren appears in front of him and lands a massive punch straight to Kura's jaw, sending him sliding back. Kaido gulps and mutters, "Looks like the real battle begins now." Jiren wipes the blood from his lip as Kura smirks. "Looks like you finally found someone who can match you." Kura laughs softly. "Match me? That punch only landed because I let my guard down for a second. And as for equal, even all of you together couldn't reach that level." The ground shakes as Kura suddenly vanishes. In the blink of an eye, he appears in front of Jiren and throws a devastating punch straight to his chest. Jiren blocks, but blood instantly sprays from his mouth as he's launched miles away, crashing violently into the ground. He lies there, heavily injured. Kaido whistles, impressed. "All right, I take my words back. I completely misjudged him." Toppo, watching his friend fall, explodes with rage. "Jiren, you monster!" Before he even finishes, his aura erupts, shaking the whole dimension. Toppo transforms into his god of destruction form, purple flames swirling violently around him. He charges Kura with everything he has. But Kaido casually steps in front of him and catches his attack with one hand. Kaido smirks. No. If everyone rushes at him together, how am I supposed to enjoy this battle? Before Toppo can react, Kaido fires a point-blank blast straight at his chest. A blinding flash. Toppo is instantly erased, reduced to dust within seconds. Dispo screams in horror. "No, Toppo! He just killed him!" He erased him like nothing. Kaido cracks his neck and yawns. "That was disappointingly easy. I thought he'd at least entertain me for a minute, but I guess expecting that much was a waste of time." Tien's voice trembles as he watches everything crumble. "No, this is it. We can't win. This might be the end for all of us." Krillin grabs him by the shoulder, panicking. "Tien, what are you saying? Are you out of your mind?" Tien shouts back, his voice breaking. "Krillin, don't you see? He killed Vegeta. He killed Gohan. One by one. They're wiping us out." Goku lies on the ground, barely able to move, his body torn apart from the previous blows. Tien trembles as he looks at him. Goku is badly injured. Soon he'll kill all of us too. We can't stop them. Krillin, desperate, shouts toward the gods. "Lord Beerus, Whis, please help us." Beerus clenches his fists, staring at the battlefield. "Whis, you're seeing this too, right? I can't just sit here and watch them die." But Whis steps forward calmly. "No, Lord Beerus. You know very well what the consequences will be. If you interfere now, you'll die as well." Beerus freezes, jaw tight, unable to move. He simply watches in silent agony. Krillin's voice cracks. "So you're really not going to help us?" Kaido bursts into laughter. "You idiots think anyone here will save you? None of them will lift a finger for you." He points at them mockingly. "You're all going to die right here. And once Goroki kills Zeno, this entire Omni Palace, this whole reality, will belong to us." Meanwhile, Goroki steps right in front of Zeno. His aura darkens the entire palace. "Are you ready, Zeno?" Zeno's tiny hands shake, his voice trembling yet filled with fury. "I don't know how you returned or how this is even possible, but I promise you, this time I'll erase you so completely that not even your ashes will remain." Goroki grins, eyes gleaming with madness. "You have no idea how long I've waited for this day, how long I've imagined this moment. Finally, you're standing before me." He lifts his hand. "Shall we begin, Lord Zeno?" Zeno's aura suddenly explodes, shaking the entire Omni Palace. "Fine, I'll end you right here." Goroki lunges forward with his first attack. But instantly, Zeno's royal guards flash in front of him, blocking the strike. Goroki snarls and hits both guards with incredible force. But the second guard appears behind him, landing a powerful blow to his back. Goroki is thrown across the floor, crashing violently. He instantly gets back up, wiping blood from his mouth. He smirks. "So, Zeno, you think your little gods can protect you?" Zeno stares at Goroki, trembling with rage. His voice shakes, but carries the weight of a god. "Listen carefully. Erase him completely. Not a single trace of him should remain. Do you understand?" The royal guards nod, their auras exploding as they power up. They dash forward to strike Goroki, but Goroki smiles darkly. "I know exactly what you're trying to do, and trust me, this is something you need to see with your own eyes, Zeno." Before anyone realizes, his body vanishes. In an instant, he reappears behind the first guard. Wham! A devastating blow lands. The second guard tries to react, but as soon as he turns his head, he sees the horrifying sight. His partner is already lying on the floor, broken, bleeding, barely alive. The second guard gasps. No, when, how? But before he can even finish, Goroki appears right in front of him with a chilling grin. What's wrong? Starting to feel scared? The guard freezes, completely stunned. Without wasting even a fraction of a second, Goroki smashes him with a brutal strike, sending him crashing down. Half dead. Both of Zeno's elite guards, the warriors who protect the most powerful being in existence, now lie on the ground, barely breathing. All the angels are stunned, speechless. Even Zeno's voice trembles. "No, impossible. How? How did he do that?" Goroki steps forward slowly, eyes locked onto Zeno. "We're not done yet, Lord Zeno." In a single flash, slash, the first guard is killed instantly. Zeno flinches, completely shaken. Goroki laughs. One down, one more left. Zeno. But suddenly, Zeno leaps forward, moving toward his remaining guard. Before he can reach him, Goroki appears with a terrifying smile. Too late, Zeno. In a single ruthless motion, slash, he finishes off Zeno's second guard right in front of him. Goroki looks at Zeno and mocks him. "What did you think? That you could save him? Save him from me?" Zeno freezes. Then, something inside him snaps. In the next moment, boom, a massive wave of divine energy erupts from his tiny body. The entire Omni Palace trembles. Zeno's eyes blaze with a blinding glow as he roars. "Your time is over. I will erase you completely." But Goroki doesn't flinch. He steps forward fearlessly. "Not my time, Zeno. Yours. Your era ends today." Goroki points at Zeno, his aura expanding like a demon unleashed. "When I kill you, I will become the one and only great Omni King ruler of all universes." His voice echoes across the palace, heavy as death itself. For the first time in countless eras, the Omni King was angry. Zeno's aura erupted, shaking the entire palace as he growled. "Goroki, this ends now. I won't allow you to cause any more destruction." But Goroki only smirked. "If you really think you can stop me, go ahead and try, Zeno." Enraged, Zeno unleashed a massive burst of divine energy straight at Goroki. But Goroki simply sidestepped it effortlessly. Almost disappointed, he said, "Is this what I waited all this time for, Zeno?" Zeno tightened his fists. This battle has only just begun. And then, Goroki launched forward, energy ripping through the air. "So tell me, Zeno, should I end this right here?" Zeno fired back. "You don't have the strength to defeat me. Understand?" Their auras collided. Beams, blasts, shockwaves. Both warriors unleashed a storm of attacks that tore apart entire layers of reality. Meanwhile, far away, Kaido watched the clash and smirked. Good. Zeno is completely occupied with Goroki. So, what do you all say? Should we start our battle? Tien stepped back, fear in his voice. No, this is too much. We can't fight them. We'll die. But Piccolo raised his voice. Don't say that. If we give up now, everyone's hope dies with us. Even Frieza nodded. For once, I agree. Judging from their power, defeating them won't be easy. But we have no choice. We must fight together. Kale trembled. But is that even possible? He killed Saiyan legends like Vegeta and Gohan. Even Jiren, someone beyond all limits, was wiped out. He erased Toppo, a god of destruction, like he was dust. Their power, it's beyond anything we understand. Caulifla snapped back. Stop talking like a coward, Kale. We're Saiyans. We don't run from monsters like them. Ha, ha, ha. Then Frost stepped forward, cold-eyed. Run? You won't even get the chance to escape. Not one of you. And then, everything fell apart. Frost stepped forward, smiling coldly. Honestly, I don't think any of you can escape from here alive. He walked right up to Kaido and Kura, bowed, and declared, My lords, I am willing to serve you. If you wish, I can help you eliminate every single one of them. Champa roared from behind. Frost, what are you doing? Have you lost your mind? Frieza folded his arms and scoffed. Typical. This is exactly what I expect from someone like you. Kaido smirked. Your offer isn't bad, Frost. But we don't need you, so just die. Before Frost could even react, Kaido's hand pierced straight through him. One brutal strike. Frost's body dropped lifelessly to the ground. Champa grunted. That's what you deserve, traitor. Kaba clenched his fists. Everyone, if we don't fight together, we're finished. Attack them now. All remaining warriors charged forward with everything they had. Everyone except Krillin, who froze in fear, unable to move. Kura stepped ahead, almost excited. Amazing, this is going to be fun. He rushed in, unleashing a storm of attacks. And Kaido immediately followed. No, Kura. I'm not letting you enjoy this alone. The two monsters attacked together, firing blast after blast, tearing through the arena. The entire Tournament of Power stage shook violently under their overwhelming power. Warriors tried to fight back, but one after another, they fell. Bodies collapsed. Screams faded. Dust settled. Minutes later, most of the fighters were already dead. Only a handful remained broken, bleeding, barely standing. Kale, wounded and trembling, whispered, Caulifla, didn't I tell you they're too strong? But Caulifla snapped back, rage in her eyes. Shut up, this won't end like this. He killed so many of our people. I'm not letting him walk away. She forced herself to stand, only to realize the horrifying truth. Every warrior around her lay dead. Caulifla's aura cracked with fury as she screamed, You'll pay for this, every last one of you. Then her rage froze, because her eyes fell on Kaba, barely standing, bleeding, trembling. Kaba faced the two angel-like monsters alone. He clenched his fists and roared, You killed my master. You killed Vegeta Sensei. I won't forgive you. I'll tear both of you apart with my own hands. As his anger exploded, Kaba transformed, his Saiyan aura tearing through the ground as he rose into Super Saiyan. Kaido laughed instantly. Hey, Kura, look at this tiny insect. He really thinks he can kill us. Kura stepped forward, smirking darkly. You foolish child. Doesn't fear ever cross your mind? Do you even understand who you're threatening? When the strongest couldn't touch us, what makes you think you can do anything? But Kaba didn't back down. You'll understand soon enough. He roared and punched with every ounce of strength he had. But nothing happened. Not a scratch. They didn't even flinch. Kura caught Kaba by the throat and whispered, "Are you done? Because this is where it ends." Kaba struggled, fought, tried to break free, but it was useless. Kura raised his hand and unleashed a massive ki blast right into Kaba's face. The explosion erased him completely. Kale screamed, "No, Kaba." Kaido turned to her. "Stop screaming. It's pointless. He's already dead." Even Champa shouted, "Kaba, no!" Champa's aura exploded with fury. "You fools, I will not spare any of you." Ignoring Vados desperately calling his name, Champa charged at Kaido and Kura with full power, throwing strikes, blasts, everything he had. But nothing worked. Not even slightly. Champa unleashed a gigantic ki blast, and even that did nothing. Kaido cracked his neck and grinned. Now this is getting entertaining. Killing fools like you is almost fun. He struck, but just before the attack landed, Vados appeared in front of Champa, blocking the blow with her staff. The clash sent shockwaves everywhere. Her knees hit the ground. She was badly injured. Champa's voice trembled. "Vados, why? Why would you step in? Why are you doing this?" Vados smiled faintly despite the pain. "Lord Champa, I warned you this wasn't right." But Kura raised his hand again. "Then how about this?" He fired another monstrous blast. Vados rushed forward, using every bit of her angelic power to shield Champa. The force was overwhelming. Her arms shook. Her aura cracked. She whispered through gritted teeth, "Forgive me, Lord Champa." Her final words. Champa joined in, pushing with all his power. But it didn't matter. A colossal explosion swallowed them both. When the smoke cleared, Champa and Vados were gone. Erased. Kaido laughed. Did they really think they could block that? Kale and Caulifla froze in shock. Then Caulifla grabbed Kale's hand. "Get up, Kale. Enough is enough. They've crossed the line. We're ending this now." The two fused. A blinding surge of energy filled the battlefield. Kefla was born. Tien whistled. "Damn, look at this. They've left a mountain of corpses behind." Kefla snarled. "Today, only one side walks away alive. Either you or us." Kaido cracked his neck. "Why even ask? We came here for one reason, to erase all of you." Kefla launched a furious strike, but Kura stepped in, catching the attack effortlessly. Kefla's punch landed with planet-breaking force, yet Kura didn't budge. He slammed his fist into her gut. Kefla flew back, smashing into the ground, but she got up immediately, rage burning hotter. She powered up even further, her aura tearing the sky apart. Kaido tilted his head. "Fusion, huh? I've seen something like this long ago. Very impressive, but ultimately useless." Meanwhile, in the sky above, Zeno versus Goroki continues, shaking all of reality. Zeno's attacks rain down endlessly. Goroki fires back with equal force, matching him blow for blow. Both unleash a massive ki blast at the same time. The beams collide. A universe-shaking explosion erupts. Zeno narrows his eyes. "I didn't expect this to be so difficult. He's stronger than I thought. He's countering everything I throw at him." Goroki wipes blood off his lip and smirks. What's wrong, Zeno? Surprised? I know exactly what you're thinking, but it's useless now. I came prepared this time, fully prepared. His aura trembles like a living storm, fully prepared, like I said. And then, it happens. His power erupts again, brighter and heavier than before. All the wounds he took in his fight with Zeno begin closing instantly. Zeno's eyes widen in disbelief. Impossible. You mastered God healing techniques too? No way. How? This shouldn't even be possible for someone like you. But Goroki only laughs. What you just saw, Zeno, that was only a preview. There's far more I haven't shown yet. Enough to blow your mind apart. Before Zeno can react, Goroki blitzes forward, shaking the very space around them. Zeno charges in, thinking, whatever happens, it all depends on me now. I can't retreat. I can't surrender. I must destroy him at any cost. Their clash restarts. A storm of fists, blasts, and explosions strong enough to tear timelines apart. Meanwhile, back on the ground, Kefla keeps firing attacks at the two angels, but they dodge everything like it's child's play. Her rage grows, but her attacks do nothing. Whis steps forward, tense. Beerus trembles with contained fury. Then, Beerus explodes. Enough! I can't watch this any longer. Whis warns gently. Lord Beerus, you know what this means. Beerus roars. I know, I'm not a coward. Whis and I'm done standing by. He leaps into the tournament arena, cracking the entire platform on landing. I've seen enough. You too. I should have stepped in long ago, but I delayed. Not anymore. Not for even a single second. Beerus's aura bursts open. Fierce, violent, beyond divine. He transforms. A new, never-before-seen form. Overflowing with destructive chaos. Kaido's eyes widen. What? Kura, are you seeing this? His power, it's above a god of destruction. Kura nods slowly. Yes, higher than a destroyer god. But even so, it won't change anything. Beerus dashes forward with blinding speed, launching a direct strike at Kaido's face. But Kaido just stands there, calm, unmoving. The attack hits, and Kaido stops it with one hand. No reaction, no damage, not even a twitch. The battlefield falls silent. Then, Beerus vanishes. Gone from sight. Kaido's eyes widen. What? Wham! Beerus appears behind him, landing a hit so brutal it launches Kaido across the entire arena. Kefla gasps. Lord Beerus, that was incredible. But Beerus doesn't stop. He turns instantly toward Kura and launches another fierce strike. But Kura simply raises his hand and catches it effortlessly. With a mocking smile, he growls. Did you really think he and I are the same, you idiot? Kura's counterpunch lands. A monstrous blow, sending Beerus crashing into the ground, skidding across shattered tiles. Kaido rises, furious. Stupid god of destruction, you're finished. He charges at Beerus like a demon, but Kefla jumps in, screaming with rage, throwing a powerful punch. For a moment, it looks like she might land it, but Kaido doesn't care. He doesn't flinch. He slams her with a savage strike, snapping the air apart. Kefla crashes down, barely alive. Kaido steps over her. Stay out of my way, weak Saiyan. He appears directly before Beerus. So, Beerus, you thought you could kill me? Watch carefully now. The same fate that took Champa and Vados. is yours too. He leans closer, voice venomous. Oh, and yes, I heard Champa was your brother. You didn't even try to save him. You just watched him die. Some brother you are. Beerus's eyes flare with pure rage. He rises and swings. A violent punch. But Kaido catches it effortlessly. Pathetic. Another hit. A devastating one. Beerus collapses. Broken. Barely breathing. Kaido lifts his hand. Now, die right here. But right then, Whis appears in front of Beerus. Stop. Kaido smirks. Oh, so you're the angel of destruction. You tried so hard to guide this fool, but he ignored you. Now he'll pay for his mistake. Whis shakes his head. No, I'm sorry, but I cannot allow you to kill him. Kaido narrows his eyes. You think you can stop me? You haven't seen even a fraction of my power. Whis steps forward calm, but deadly serious. Then allow me to show you why that confidence may be your last mistake. I've understood your power perfectly. You killed my father, but Lord Beerus has nothing to do with your past. Whatever happened to you, he isn't responsible, so you can't kill him. Kaido smirks. I don't care. He stepped in my way, so he dies. Whis steps forward. If that's how you want it, then I have no choice. I'm not moving. Kaido laughs. Do you really think your approval or denial matters to me? Idiots, you can both die together. He unleashes a massive attack straight at Whis and Beerus. Whis braces himself, pushing back with all his power. A gigantic explosion erupts across the battlefield. Kaido scoffs. Foolish angel and god of destruction. If you had obeyed me, you could have saved your own lives. But then, Kaido freezes. He senses something terrifying. A new energy fills the arena. Whis appears in front of him, but this time, in a form no angel should ever possess. Kaido's eyes widen. Impossible. Angels don't have transformations. So what is this? Whis calmly replies. I told you. You forced me. Beerus whispers, shocked. Whis, you. Whis looks back at him. Lord Beerus, I won't let anything happen to you. That's my promise. Kaido growls. So this is your little trick. Interesting. To think someone other than the Grand Priest could wield such power. He smirks. Looks like the Grand Priest hid more from us than we thought. Whis steps forward. None of that matters now. If it's a fight you want, then I'm ready. And in the next instant, Whis launches at Kaido. Kaido blocks, but he's pushed back, shocked by the force. From a distance, Kura laughs. Looks like you finally found someone who can match you, huh? Kaido grins. Don't get excited, Kura. This is only the beginning. The real fight starts now, and I'm going to enjoy every second. Tien watches in disbelief. This power, it's like he's the Grand Priest himself. Even Zeno stares and says, So, you're the Supreme Angel, the strongest of them all. I never thought we'd discover it so soon. At that exact moment, Goroki launches a devastating hit straight at Zeno. Zeno can't even react. He's smashed across the palace, sent flying and crashing brutally into the distance. Zeno slowly rises, furious. Enough. I won't tolerate any of this anymore. The air shifts. Power begins to gather around him. Violent, unstable, divine. And then, a massive explosion erupts through the Omni Palace. The entire realm trembles under the pressure. A blinding flash covers everything. Zeno finally reveals his true form. All the angels and gods stare in absolute shock. Belmod mutters, "So, this is the real power of the Omni King." Even Whis is stunned. I never imagined Lord Zeno would ever need to transform. His power, it's overwhelming. Zeno looks across the battlefield. I didn't think it would come to this, but since it has, you will handle him. Goroki laughs. You think that matters, Zeno? It doesn't. In fact, I've been waiting for this moment. He raises his hand, his aura erupting like a dying star. Goroki powers up. His strength skyrockets. His energy now surpassing even the Supreme Angel. But then, he freezes. A strange, terrifying dark energy washes over him. What is this? Everyone turns. It's Goku. Dark energy surges from him like a raging storm. His eyes, his aura, his very presence. Everything is different. He's not just angry. He's something beyond anger. Even Zeno stares in shock. I know that energy. But this is far beyond anything it should be. Out of nowhere, a massive ki blast tears through the battlefield, slamming straight into Goroki and sending him crashing across the realm. Goku's energy explodes outward. A violent, unstable shockwave, ripping space itself apart. And then, it happens. For the first time ever, Goku transforms. Dark Ultra Instinct. His aura is pitch black lightning. His eyes glow like a fallen god. The entire Omni Palace shakes under his presence. Goku steps forward, voice broken with rage. I'll erase you, all of you. His ki spikes again, terrifying, endless. You killed my son. You killed my friends. The ground cracks beneath him. Now, every single one of you will die. We saw Zeno-sama unleash his final form, but suddenly, another presence emerges. A power so overwhelming that even Goroki is shaken to his core. Before he can react, a massive Kai blast slams into him, sending Goroki crashing far across the battlefield. And then we finally see him standing in front of everyone, burning with rage. Goku appears in his dark Ultra Instinct form. You shouldn't have come here, Goku growls. And you should never have killed them. You will pay for this badly. Without wasting a single second, Goku charges straight at Goroki. Goroki fires another ki blast, but Goku tears right through it and lands a devastating punch. Goroki stumbles back, furious. What is this? This dark energy? I've never felt anything like it. How can a Saiyan possess this power? Who even is he? Zeno-sama looks on and calmly says, he's just an ordinary, but even I am shocked. Dark Ultra Instinct. The last time we witnessed it was thousands of years ago. I never thought I'd see it again, and especially not inside this. Meanwhile, Goku keeps attacking relentlessly. Punch after punch, ki blast after ki blast. Goroki tries to dodge, tries to block, but Goku's strikes are far too strong. He is being completely overwhelmed. Watching this, Frieza smirks. Well, this monkey is actually impressive. But what triggered this sudden power-up? Hey, Piccolo, do you know what this is? I've never seen any Saiyan use something like that. Piccolo shakes his head. No, even I don't understand what's happening, but I just hope Goku can defeat him. Hearing this, Kaido bursts out laughing. Defeat him, you stupid Namekian. Do you even know what you just said? None of you realize Goroki's true power. No one here can sense his limits, not even Zeno. Defeating him, that's not difficult, that's impossible. Kura steps forward and adds, let that Saiyan deal with Goroki. His fight has nothing to do with us. We won't interfere. Not unless he orders it. Right now, you should be worrying about yourselves. Just then, Whis appears in front of them, blocking their path. You seem to be forgetting something, Whis says calmly. I'm still standing right here. Kura smirks. Well, now look who I forgot was still alive. Fine, then let's end you first. And before Whis can react, Kaido fires a massive ki blast straight at him from behind. Whis turns around instantly to block the incoming attack. But before he can react, Kura rushes in with unbelievable speed and strikes him directly. A massive explosion tears through the battlefield. As the smoke clears, we see Zeno-sama standing in front of Whis protecting him. Whis looks shocked. Zeno-sama. Zeno replies calmly. Whis, Goku is handling him. I don't know what that power is, and I'm not sure whether Goku can actually defeat Goroki. But as long as he's fighting, I will erase these two myself. Hearing this, Kaido's eyes widen. What? What did he just say? Did you hear that? Zeno-sama came here to kill us. Just because Goroki is busy fighting, they think this is their chance to take us down. Kura smirks. Why not? That's exactly what we want. Come on then, Zeno. Let me see the true power of the mighty Lord Zeno-sama in your real form. Zeno's expression turns cold. You will regret this. Before the words even finish, Zeno appears like lightning and lands a crushing blow on Kaido. But Kura instantly counterattacks, launching a deadly burst of energy at Zeno. The clash releases a storm of raw power, and a colossal explosion shakes the entire realm. Zeno and Kura are both blown back, crashing far away. Kaido laughs loudly. Incredible, Kura. You actually matched Lord Zeno-sama. That is impressive. But Zeno rises again, unfazed. Kura stands up as well, panting slightly. Inside his mind, Kura thinks, I know exactly what he's hiding. Zeno, you are unbelievably powerful. You haven't even begun using your real strength yet. But don't underestimate me. I'm not done. Zeno suddenly moves again, even faster than before. He strikes Kura with a powerful blow. Kura tries to block, but this time Zeno's speed is overwhelming. Kura is sent flying, slightly injured. Zeno steps forward and says, Perhaps you forgot who I am before you challenged me. Kura wipes the blood from his mouth and growls, Oh no, Zeno, we could never forget you. Never. Zeno instantly attacks again, and despite Kura's desperate attempt to defend, he is once again smashed across the battlefield. Watching this, Kale gasps. It looks like we actually have hope. Zeno-sama might defeat him. He can win. Whis nods slightly. Yes, I feel the same. There's hope. Then Whis adds quietly, But the real problem is still Goroki. Whis hopes silently that maybe, just maybe, Goku can handle Goroki. But in that exact moment, Kaido suddenly attacks Whis with ruthless intent. Whis reacts instantly, countering with a swift reverse strike, but it does nothing. Kaido blocks it effortlessly. He steps right up to Whis, smirking. What happened? Did you really think that could damage me? Fool, your power isn't even worth the dust under my feet. Before Whis can respond, Kaido smashes him with a brutal hit, sending him flying across the battlefield. Beerus rises again, trembling with rage. That's enough. I can't tolerate this anymore. His aura erupts violently. His wounds heal instantly. The ground cracks beneath him. Kaido laughs. Oh, you still have some life left in you. Beerus growls. You're right. This is far from over. He powers up and charges at Kaido with godly fury. But Kaido appears before him first, even faster. This was your last chance, Beerus. Understand? Beerus tries to respond, But Kaido's hand pierces straight through Beerus's stomach, ripping through his body entirely. Wiz screams in horror. No, Lord Beerus. At the same time, Zeno rushes forward, but Kura intercepts him, boosting his power and striking Zeno hard across the arena. Whis teleports to the collapsing Beerus and whispers frantically, Lord Beerus, stay calm. It's not too late. I can heal you. But Kaido appears right in front of Whis. Heal him? You won't be doing anything as long as we're here. Understand? Kaido launches a deadly strike at Whis, but at the very last second, Tien fires his tri-beam cannon, slamming Kaido deep into the ground. Hurry, Whis! Tien shouts. I can't hold him for long. Kaido stands back up, furious. But Tien fires another tri-beam, burying him again. From the side, Krillin yells, Am I going crazy, or wasn't that attack only useful during the Cell fight? How did it become this strong? But it drains too much energy, Krillin adds. Tien won't last long. Tien continues blasting non-stop while on the other side of the battlefield. Zeno unleashes multiple devastating attacks on Kura. Kura takes them head-on, refusing to fall. He laughs through the chaos. I must admit, Omni King, your power is incredible. I finally understand why everyone fears you. He wipes the blood from his mouth. But I don't. I came here to erase you myself. Meanwhile, Goku and Goroki are locked in a brutal exchange. Punch after punch, blast after blast, neither giving an inch, until finally Goroki growls. Goroki smirks. Impressive, Saiyan. Your strength is admirable, but nowhere near enough to defeat me. Goku's eyes turn cold. Defeat you? Who said I want to defeat you? He steps forward, voice shaking with hatred. I want to kill you. Before Goroki can react, Goku's dark rage form ignites, and he grabs Goroki by the throat, lifting him effortlessly. You took everything from me. My goal, my rival, my son. Goku explodes like a demon unleashed. I'll erase you completely. His power surges so violently that even the gods watching from afar are stunned. Goku smashes Goroki with a devastating punch, followed by an enormous ki blast that sends Goroki flying into the distance, bleeding and broken. Goku appears in front of him instantly, eyes burning with fury. Goroki coughs blood, then chuckles. I must admit, I've never seen a warrior like you before. Goku replies coldly, and you never will again. But Goroki laughs louder, darker. Is that so? You think this is over? Saiyan, this is only the beginning. The moment he says this, Goku suddenly screams in unbearable pain, clutching his body as if it's tearing itself apart. Krillin panics. Gee Goku, what's happening to you? Goroki rises slowly, smirking. I knew this would happen. Your body was never prepared to handle that power. The real question is, how did you last this long? Meanwhile, Whis finally finishes healing Beerus, but at the same time, Tien collapses from exhaustion. His tri-beam attack stops. Kaido instantly appears beside the drained Tien. Well, you don't look like someone who could push me this far. That technique of yours was incredible. I couldn't even break free. He leans in, smiling cruelly. But tell me, what will you do now? You annoyed me quite a lot. And then, Kaido charges a massive energy blast and fires it point blank. Tien is vaporized instantly, reduced to ash. Krillin screams, No, Tien! Kaido rolls his eyes. Stop screaming! You're hurting my ears. Krillin, trembling, cries out, You can't be an angel. You're a monster. Kaido smirks. Wow, you figured it out faster than I expected. he suddenly appears right in front of Krillin. Well then, it's your turn now. As soon as he says that, everything changes. Krillin sees Kaido appear right in front of him, and he completely freezes. He can't move. He can't speak. He's terrified. But at that very moment, Piccolo jumps in, pushes Krillin aside, and launches a heavy punch at Kaido. A punch that does absolutely nothing. Kaido doesn't even budge. Kaido smirks. Are you done? Good. Now it's my turn. But before he can strike, Whis and Beerus suddenly appear together and deliver a massive hit to Kaido, strong enough to push him back. Whis steps forward. Not this time. You won't be killing anyone else. Meanwhile, Goku, still screaming in unbearable pain, collapses to the ground and loses consciousness. Goroki looks at him and laughs. Impressive. Your dark Ultra Instinct really surprised me. I actually wanted to fight it a bit longer, but too bad. You broke yourself before I could finish you, and now you're done. He charges a massive ki blast aimed right at Goku. But suddenly, Zeno-sama appears out of nowhere and smashes Goroki back with a devastating punch. Goroki wipes his mouth and grins. I knew it, Zeno. You'd show up, but it won't matter. He counterattacks with full force, but Zeno withstands it easily. Then Kura also joins in, firing a powerful attack directly at Zeno, and Zeno blocks that too. In the next moment, Zeno unleashes a massive ki wave that engulfs all three enemies, causing a huge explosion. Then he quickly picks up Goku and rushes to Whis. Whis, listen to me carefully. Take everyone and get Goku out of here now. Whis looks shocked. Zeno-sama, what are you saying? Zeno's voice becomes serious, heavier than ever before. There isn't much time. I can't save everyone, but Goku must survive. His power. This power hasn't appeared in thousands of years. It might be the only thing capable of changing fate. Beerus steps forward. But Zeno-sama, Zeno cuts him off. No, we don't have time to talk. This battle doesn't end here. This is only the beginning, and what's coming next is far worse. If we fall now, everything ends. To win, you, all of you, and Goku must live. Go. Right now. Zeno opens a glowing portal behind them, a safe zone only he knows about. He looks back one last time. Go. But the moment Zeno says go, everything collapses into chaos. Goroki rises to his feet and growls. Zeno, you think you can save them? That's not happening. Kura steps forward with a twisted smile. None of you are going anywhere. Every single one of you dies here. Kaido adds with a mocking laugh. So this is what it's come to. Running away from the battlefield. But it won't matter. You won't escape with your lives. Zeno repeats louder this time. Go, I said go. But at that exact moment, Goroki unleashes a massive ki blast toward all of them. Zeno steps forward, pouring his entire power into blocking it. Goroki laughs. Put in as much power as you want, Zeno. But all of you are dying right here. The portal behind them begins flickering, fading, disappearing. Everyone rushes toward it in one last desperate attempt to survive. But Kura roars. Not so easy. He fires an enormous ki blast at the group. Zeno reacts instantly, countering it with his own attack, completely neutralizing Kura's blast. But before they can move, Kaido appears right in front of them, blocking the path again. No one is going anywhere. Got it. Krillin panics. What? What do we do now? Whis closes his eyes for a moment. I understand. There's only one way left. Beerus shouts. Whis, no. Whis turns to him. Lord Beerus, you go. I'll handle this. Beerus roars back, Whis. But Whis doesn't listen. He lunges toward Kaido with a fierce strike, and Kaido stops it effortlessly, grabbing Whis by the throat. Kaido smirks. It's over. You have no options left. Whis smiles softly. Who said that? I didn't, and I never wanted this. Forgive me, Lord Beerus. I truly had no choice. Whis closes his eyes. Now everything depends on you, Lord Beerus. Go. And in the next instant, Whis detonates himself. A blinding explosion erupts across the battlefield. Kaido is thrown miles back, finally wounded. Krillin shouts, voice breaking. Go, Lord Beerus. Don't let Whis' sacrifice be for nothing. Everyone sprints toward the dying portal. But Goroki appears again, faster than lightning. No, I won't allow it. He charges a massive attack, but Zeno steps in front of him, unleashing every last ounce of his divine power. Everything depends on all of you now. Beerus, go. Zeno's energy skyrockets, spiking beyond anything ever felt before. And then, a colossal explosion shakes the entire realm. The shockwave blasts angels and warriors away like leaves in a storm. And when the light fades, when the dust finally settles, Zeno-sama lies still, silent, gone. The king of everything has fallen. Zeno sacrificed himself just to save everyone. The portal fades out completely, vanishing like it never existed. Silence covers the battlefield until Goroki slowly rises from the rubble. He smirks. So, you could do something like that, huh, Zeno? Who would have imagined the almighty king of everything throwing his life away to save a bunch of insects? Goroki laughs coldly. Merciless, pathetic fool. You were always a weak Omni King. He steps forward, raising his voice so every surviving god and angel can hear. Listen carefully. From this moment on, I am the Omni King. All angels, all gods of destruction, you will obey me. The realm trembles with his declaration. Kura speaks up, but Goroki, he escaped. Goroki smirks, eyes full of bloodlust. I know. Let him run. It won't last. He points to the empty sky where the portal vanished. He'll return eventually, and the very moment he does, I'll kill him where he stands. His aura explodes into a monstrous, dark storm. Don't worry. The day he comes back will be the day he embraces his death. He turns toward the shattered cosmic horizon. These universes, every realm, every life form. Goroki raises his hand, declaring with absolute authority, all of it now belongs to me. I am the Omni King, Goroki. Previously on our story last episode, we saw Zeno-sama and Whis sacrifice themselves while trying to protect Goku, but even in their final moments, they succeeded. They opened a portal and sent Goku to another dimension, saving him at the cost of their own lives, right? Then Kaido looks at Goroki and says, "So what now?" They all ran away, but Goroki just smirks and replies, "Let them run, it changes nothing. When they return, they'll die by my hands. And as all of you already know, I am the Omni King now." Everyone freezes. Zeno is gone, and the universe has no choice but to bow. Kefla shocked whispers, "I still can't believe it. Zeno-sama is really dead, and he used his last breath to save that Saiyan from Universe 7. Mojito adds, "There's nothing we can do. With Zeno gone, we can't oppose them. Even Quitella agrees. He's right. Without Zeno, we obey. Kura laughs. Smart choice. Honestly, I didn't think you guys had this much sense. But Bergamo clenches his fists and says, this is painful, accepting that our Omni King is really gone. But if we want to live, we must accept Goroki as the new Omni King. Lendra nods. He's right. From now on, Goroki rules us all. Goroki steps forward and announces, good. I hope none of you have a problem with my decision. If you do, come say it to my face. If you're brave enough. Dead silence. No one moves. No one speaks. Everyone is terrified. Gura smirks. See, Goroki, none of these worms have the guts to go against you. Goroki looks at the sky and says, Zeno is gone. Now it's time for the next one. The dragon god, Zalama. I want full control over every Dragon Ball. Fine. If I can't have it, I'll erase them forever. Kaido steps forward and asks, but where do we even find Zalama? No one knows where he is except the Grand Priest, and you killed him. Goroki replies, I didn't need him alive. He smiles darkly. There's another way to locate Zalama. Kura raises an eyebrow. Don't tell me you're talking about the Namekians. Goroki looks at them and says, yes, exactly. On planet Namek, someone will definitely know something about Zalama. So don't waste time. Go find out where he's hiding. Kura bows his head. Understood, Goroki. I'll take care of it. Kaido smirks. Sounds fun. If you don't mind, Kura, how about I join you? With both of us together, your job gets easier. So, what do you say? Kura shrugs. Do whatever you want. And just like that, Kura and Kaido leave for planet Namek. Goroki turns to the rest and says, why are all of you still here? Go back to your universes. Don't worry, I'm not killing anyone anymore. I already killed the ones I needed to. But now I only want Zalama. Once I have him, no one will ever stop me. Meanwhile, on King Kai's planet, King Kai is panicking and tells the Supreme Kai, this is bad, really bad. Zeno-sama is dead, and now he's hunting for the dragon god, Zalama. If he finds him, the entire multiverse could be destroyed. Supreme Kai replies, don't worry, I won't let that happen. I need to warn the Namekians immediately. He leaves at once for planet Namek. Planet Namek. Fear everywhere. Namekians gather terrified. One says, I can't believe it. Zeno-sama and the Grand Priest died in that tournament. This isn't right. What happens now? An elder Namekian steps forward. I've heard stories about that angel, Saiyan, Goroki. I think that was his name. I always thought it was just a myth, but now it's real. If he's the Omni King, he'll expand his empire. He'll wipe worlds one by one, and to take full control, he'll need Zalama's Super Dragon Balls. I know how terrifying those Dragon Balls are. If they fall into his hands, no one in existence can stop him. Just then, Kura and Kaido arrive right in front of them. Kaido smirks. Well, looks like this old man knows a lot. Who told him all this? Was he expecting us? He laughs. Doesn't matter anyway. We're here for something else. Kura adds, actually, this makes our job even easier. You already know everything, don't you? The old Namekian elder steps forward and says, wait, you two here? That means he's the one who sent you. All the Namekians around them are terrified just seeing Kura and Kaido standing there. Kura smirks and says, Hey, no need to freak out. We just want one thing. Tell us what we need to know, and nobody gets hurt. Got it? But the old Namekian glares back and says, we know exactly what your intentions are. and we will never tell you anything. You'll never learn where he is." Kura laughs lightly. "Oh, so that's how it is." He steps forward toward the elder, but a few brave Namekians rush in to stop him. Before they can even land a blow, Kura wipes them out instantly with a single strike. Everyone freezes in fear. "You saw that?" one Namekian whispers. "He took them all out in one hit." Kura stares at the elder and says, "If you don't want more of them to die, tell me where Zalama is." But the old man shouts, "No, no matter what you do, nobody will tell you. Never." Kura's expression darkens. "So that's your answer?" In an instant, he fires a massive ki blast straight at the elder and kills him on the spot. Kaido chuckles. "Looks like that old guy really ticked you off. Well, it was bound to happen." Right then, a squad of Namekian warriors arrives. They see the elder's body. Their eyes widen in rage. "What? What happened here?" Villagers cry out. "He killed our guru. He was asking about Lord Zalama, and when Guru refused to answer, he killed him." The 5 Namekian warriors step forward and say, "You shouldn't have done that. You're going to regret this." But Kura just shrugs. "I asked him nicely. He didn't answer. So, I removed the problem." He smirks again and raises his aura. "But if none of you tell me where Zalama is, I'll make sure every single Namekian dies a painful death." Kaido steps beside him and laughs. "Hey Kura, don't kill all of them. Leave a few for me. I want to have some fun too. There are so many Namekians here. Killing all of them is going to be fun." Some Namekians shout, "These 5 are the strongest warriors of our planet. Kilos, Miraka, Umara, Tenshu, and Shura. We believe in you. Protect us." Kilo steps forward, eyes burning with rage. "You shouldn't have done this. You made a huge mistake. One you'll never be forgiven for, and you will regret it." Kaido laughs. "Big talk for someone who's about to die. Can you do anything besides running your mouth?" Before the sentence even finishes, Kilos launches a massive attack, a huge blast shaking the ground. But Kaido stops it like it's nothing, as if a child pushed him. Miraka immediately leaps in and fires a giant ki blast straight at Kaido. But Kura appears in front of him instantly, grabs him by the throat and says, "I won't repeat myself. Stop wasting my time." And with one brutal motion, Kura snaps his neck and disintegrates him into dust. The Namekians scream in horror. "Did you see that? He killed Miraka instantly." Kilos, trembling with rage, charges at Kura at full speed. Kaido tries to block him, but Kilos slips past and lands a heavy punch on Kura. But Kura catches the punch effortlessly and smirks. "You Namekians really don't understand, do you? Idiots." Then Kura rips both of Kilos' arms off brutally and mercilessly and smashes him in the stomach with a devastating strike. Kilos collapses on the ground barely alive. A small Namekian kid runs forward screaming, "Kilos! No! Are you okay?" Before the child can reach him, Umara and Tenshu rush at Kura in fury. But Kaido steps forward again and blocks both their attacks with ease. He laughs. "Hey Kura, you already killed one, and another one is half dead. What am I supposed to play with then? Leave some fun for me." Then Kaido strikes both Umara and Tenshu with a single brutal blow, sending them crashing far into the distance. The Namekians realize the truth. Their strongest warriors mean nothing in front of Kura and Kaido. One of them cries out, "Stop it! What do you even gain from this? What are you trying to achieve? Please stop killing us." Kaido hears the Namekian's plea, and without a second of hesitation, he fires a massive ki blast straight at him. A huge explosion erupts, and every Namekian standing near him is instantly obliterated. Kaido smirks and says, "Is this how you talk to an angel, San? Did no one teach you any manners?" He looks at the remaining 2 warriors and shouts, "You two get up and fight me and Kura. And Kura, don't interrupt me right now. Let me enjoy this moment. It's my turn now." Umara and Tenchu step back in fear. "No, he's going to kill us," they cry. Kaido laughs softly. "Yes, you're absolutely right. I'm going to kill you. So, what should you do? Run. Run for your lives." And both warriors actually start running. But before they can take more than a few steps, Kaido fires another deadly ki blast, and they vanish instantly. The remaining Namekians scream. Those were our strongest warriors. 3 are already dead. Only 2 remain, and one of them is injured. We can't stop them. We can't do anything. Kaido appears beside Shura in an instant. "Hey Kura, look, only 2 left. One is wounded and this one is barely standing. So tell me, are any of you still planning to keep your mouth shut?" Suddenly, a small Namekian child steps forward, trembling. "No, stop. Please stop. I'll tell you. I'll tell you where Lord Zalama is." Kura narrows his eyes. "What is this, kid, serious? You really expect me to believe him?" Kaido places a hand on Kura's shoulder. "Relax, Kura. Every Namekian knows about Lord Zalama, even the children. And after everything he just witnessed, there's no way he's lying. Not to us." The child cries and says, "Listen, Lord Zalama lives in the 5th Chronicle dimension. That's where you'll find him." Kaido smiles. "Perfect. You did well." And without a hint of mercy, he turns towards Shura and fires a brutal attack. Shura can't even defend himself and dies instantly. The child screams, "No! Why? You promised. You said you wouldn't hurt anyone. Once you got the information, you lied." Kaido tilts his head and says casually, "Oh, is that what I said? My bad. I got a little too excited. Now that we know where he is, let's leave. I'm done wasting my time on these insects." Kaido shrugs. "Alright, Kura, whatever you say. But before we go, that last survivor..." Kura cuts him off sharply. "I said, let's go." Kaido smirks. "Lucky you all. If it wasn't for Kura, I would have built graves for every single one of you right here." And with that, both angels disappear into the sky, the 5th Chronicle dimension. As they travel through the void between realms, Kura asks, "Do you even know where this place is?" Kaido laughs confidently. "Relax, I know exactly where the 5th Chronicle dimension is. Just follow me." Time passes, and finally, they arrive before a mysterious dimensional gate. Massive, glowing, ancient. Kura whispers, "This is it." Kaido nods. "Yeah, this is the place. This is where we'll find Lord Zalama, the dragon god." Inside the dimension, Zalama opens his eyes. He already knows everything. "So, you two finally made it. I knew you'd reach me eventually. And trust me, I've been waiting." Planet Namek Aftermath. Meanwhile, the Supreme Kai finally arrives on planet Namek. The scene is horrifying. Bodies everywhere. Villages wounded. Warriors dead. The planet in ruins. Supreme Kai gasps. Who did this?" A small Namekian child steps forward, trembling. 2 angels came. They kept asking about Lord Zalama. Our strongest warriors tried to stop them, but they were killed. All of them. Only one survived, but he's barely alive. Supreme Kai's voice shakes. "Did anyone tell them about the dragon god Zalama?" The child lowers his head. "Yes, I did. If I hadn't, they would have killed all of us. I had no choice." Supreme Kai closes his eyes in fear. "You don't understand. You've made a terrible mistake. A terrible one. I must act. I must do something now." Suddenly, he receives a telepathic message from King Kai. Supreme Kai, listen carefully. You need to find Goku. Zeno-sama hid him in a special place where he's completely safe. Only he can stop what's coming. Supreme Kai panics. But how? How do I find a place created by Zeno-sama himself? I can't do this. This is impossible for me. King Kai answers, there's only one God who knows everything. Only he can help you. Supreme Kai gasps. You mean Master Zuno? Meanwhile, inside Zalama's fortress, Kaido and Kura enter. And Kaido says, damn Kura, look at this place. This fortress looks insane. Is Lord Zalama really living here? Kura replies, that's what we were told. And trust me, he doesn't lie. If he does, I'll wipe out that entire planet myself. Suddenly, a deep voice echoes. There's no need to kill anyone. The one you're looking for is standing right in front of you. Both Kaido and Kura look forward and see Zalama. They bow slightly and say, Lord Zalama, we finally found you. And honestly, it wasn't that hard. Kaido steps forward and says, we only have one request. A humble request. We don't want to fight you. Not yet. Please come with us peacefully. This is an order from our great Omni King Goroki. Zalama's expression changes. I only had one Omni King, Zeno, and he killed him. So for me, there is no Omni King anymore. Kura replies coldly, whether you accept it or not doesn't matter. If you refuse to come peacefully, we have other ways. And trust me, you don't want to force us. Zalama stands tall, his eyes glowing. I never intended to fight, but if that's what you want, then so be it. I won't back down. Kaido suddenly rushes forward and launches an attack, but Zalama dodges easily and blasts Kaido away with a single ki blast. Kura grins. Not bad, but you're not strong enough to beat both of us. He launches a barrage of ki blasts, but Zalama dodges every single one, appears right in front of him, and says, you two made a very big mistake. You shouldn't have done this. Absolutely not, Zalama growls. And for this mistake, your punishment will be painful. The moment he says that, he smashes Kura with a brutal strike. Kura tries blocking it, but still gets launched far across the battlefield, crashing into the ground. Kaido watches and smirks. Huh, this one's a little tougher than I expected. Good, this might actually be fun. Kaido rushes in and attacks again, but Zalama's speed is unreal. Before Kaido can even blink, Zalama appears right in front of him. Kaido's eyes widen. What? How did you... Zalama interrupts coldly. You two are making a big mistake if you think I'm weak. Before Kaido can respond, Zalama lands a crushing blow to his chest. Kaido is sent flying, but before Zalama can continue, Kura suddenly reappears and lands a heavy hit on Zalama. But Zalama doesn't even flinch. He grabs both their arms mid-attack and says, you shouldn't have done that. A massive ki blast erupts from Zalama's hands, exploding with overwhelming force. Kaido and Kura are thrown miles away, crashing through rock and debris. Both of them are badly injured. Kaido coughs and says, damn, this is getting difficult. Kura nods. You're right. I didn't expect him to be this strong. It feels like we're fighting an Omni King himself. He clenches his fists. We'll have to go all out. But suddenly, a deep voice echoes behind them. You won't need to do anything. I'll take it from here. They both turn, and standing there is Goroki. Kura's eyes widen. Goroki, what are you doing here? Goroki steps forward calmly. I knew defeating Zalama wouldn't be easy for you two, but I also knew you'd eventually find him. That's why I'm here. Zalama turns to face him and says, so, you're the one who killed the Omni King? Goroki smirks. That's right, I killed him, and now I am the Omni King. He points at Zalama, and now it's your turn to die, Dragon God Zalama. The sky begins to tremble under an unfamiliar, overwhelming force. Massive fractures rip through the land, spreading endlessly in every direction. A suffocating pressure consumes the air, so intense it feels like reality itself is on the verge of shattering. Then, standing directly before Goroki, Zalama finally reveals himself. Zalama slowly scans Goroki from head to toe. Pure disbelief is written across his face as if he still cannot comprehend how Goroki managed to reach this sacred domain. His voice booms like thunder as he speaks. What? How did you even make it here? At that moment, Goroki remains perfectly composed. There is no fear in his eyes, no doubt. Only a subtle, confident smile resting on his face. He speaks calmly, almost knowingly. I knew it. I knew they would find you no matter what. He steps forward, his voice steady. But I also knew they would never be able to defeat you. That's why I followed them all the way here. Hearing this, Zalama's eyes burn brighter than ever. A strange divine presence begins to swirl around him as if the space itself is pulsing in rhythm with his power. Goroki's voice suddenly deepens, carrying an ominous weight. And what I'm about to tell you now may be the greatest shock you'll ever experience. Zalama stays silent, staring directly at him. Then Goroki speaks, cold and unflinching. The Omni King no longer exists. The entire world freezes. Time itself seems to stop breathing. Without hesitation, Goroki continues. Zeno is dead. Zalama's fury erupts instantly. The pressure explodes outward, crushing everything in its path. After allowing the words to settle, Goroki delivers his final declaration. From this moment on, I am the Omni King. Zalama completely loses control. His power surges violently, darker and more destructive than ever before. Goroki steps forward, his voice sharp and threatening. You have two options. Submit to my command and serve me, or I kill you and take the golden dragon for myself. A cruel smile forms on his face, and trust me, I will enjoy it. Zalama roars in rage, his voice echoing throughout the entire dimension. I have only ever recognized one Omni King. He points directly at Goroki, and that was Zeno. You killed him, and I will never kneel to anyone again. Goroki exhales slowly. That smile never fades. So that's your answer. His eyes narrow. Then I see it clearly now. You're nothing but a fool, someone desperate to throw his life away. Suddenly, Goroki unleashes his power. A monstrous aura explodes around him, shaking the entire dimension to its core. You're truly prepared for this, Zalama says firmly. Goroki's smile sharpens. Excellent. In the next instant, he vanishes. Moving faster than lightning, Goroki charges straight towards Zalama, his hand blazing with crackling energy. Zalama doesn't hesitate for even a fraction of a second. He steps forward and meets the attack head-on. The collision is catastrophic. The ground splits apart violently as massive shockwaves tear through the sky. The explosion is so immense that even Kura and Kaido are forced to retreat far into the distance. Kura stares in disbelief. This power. I've never witnessed strength like this in my entire life. Kaido clenches his fists, shock and fury mixing on his face. Who would have thought the Dragon God could fight at this level? This feels Omni King tier. High above, Goroki and Zalama clash repeatedly in midair. One strikes from above, the other counters from below. Their speed is beyond comprehension, far faster than the eye can track. Only violent bursts of energy remain visible, illuminating the sky like divine lightning. Suddenly, Goroki pulls his arm back. A massive explosion erupts as he fires a devastating energy blast straight at Zalama. Zalama catches it with both hands. The energy compresses violently between his palms, yet he doesn't move an inch. His eyes burn with fury. Is that all you've got? In an instant, he reverses the flow of power, sending the blast straight back toward Goroki. Goroki watches it approach and smiles. Beautiful. He dodges effortlessly, but everything behind him is completely erased from existence. Before the dust can even begin to settle, Goroki suddenly vanishes and reappears right in front of Zalama. Without wasting a single moment, he unleashes a brutal barrage of punches and kicks. The assault is non-stop, strike after strike, each blow carrying godlike level force. Zalama blocks every single attack. Their fists and legs collide with such overwhelming power that the impact alone sends violent shockwaves through space. With each exchange, reality itself begins tearing apart. The ground beneath them collapses, crumbling as if the dimension can no longer withstand their presence. Goroki narrows his eyes. Who would have imagined the dragon god could reach this level of power? His focus sharpens. Let's see how long you can keep up. In that instant, Goroki releases even more of his strength. A terrifying aura erupts behind him, so immense it feels as if a true god has descended onto the battlefield. Slowly, he extends his hand forward. Sharp blade-like energy begins to take form. Then, without hesitation, he draws his sword. The moment the blade is revealed, absolute silence consumes the battlefield. Even the air seems to freeze in place. Kaido panics. That's Goroki's blood sword. Kura's expression turns grim. No one can survive that blade. Goroki doesn't hesitate. He swings the sword straight at Zalama. The slash is so powerful that the sky itself splits apart, torn clean in two. But then something unimaginable happens. Zalama calmly raises his hand and catches the blade with his bare palm. Everything stops. Time itself feels frozen. Goroki's eyes widen in disbelief. What? That's impossible. Kura and Kaido shout in unison. No way. That sword has no equal. How did he stop it? Zalama looks directly into Goroki's eyes, his voice calm and unwavering. What's wrong, Goroki? His grip tightens around the blade. You look surprised. Then, with cold confidence, he speaks again. I'm not as weak as you thought. In the next instant, Zalama gathers all of his power into a single blow and drives a devastating punch straight into Goroki's face. Goroki tries to block, but the force is overwhelming. He's sent flying across the battlefield, slamming into the ground with catastrophic force. The impact completely obliterates the surrounding area. Kura and Kaido stare in stunned silence. Kura snarls in rage. That's it. I'll handle him myself. But before he can move, the entire battlefield begins to shake violently. A strange, swirling energy rises from deep beneath the ground. Kaido's face turns pale. Wait, Kura. Something's wrong. As Kura turns back, they see Goroki slowly standing up from the massive crater. There isn't a single trace of pain on his face. Goroki rolls his neck slightly and speaks calmly. It's been a very long time since anyone managed to hit me that hard. A faint smile appears, but there's no joy in it, only madness. Zalama stares at him coldly. Now you understand. His voice carries absolute authority. Underestimating the dragon god was the greatest mistake of your life. Goroki slowly lifts his gaze, locking eyes with Zalama. In a calm, chilling tone, he replies, This wasn't a mistake, Zalama. This is only the beginning. In the very next instant, Goroki releases all of his energy at once. A massive ki explosion erupts from his body, triggering a catastrophic blast that tears through the battlefield. The sky itself shifts color as violent lightning races through the air. Kura and Kaido are forced to retreat once more. Kaido mutters in shock. This power, it's completely different from before. Around Goroki, an even more terrifying aura forms. His eyes glow intensely as his voice echoes across the battlefield. "You caught my sword," Goroki declares, "but that doesn't mean you've won." With a single violent motion, he rips the blade free from Zalama's grip. Zalama is pushed back for just a fraction of a second, and Goroki takes full advantage of it. He drives a brutal kick straight into Zalama's chest. Zalama's body is sent flying through the air. But in the very next moment, Zalama regains complete control, halts himself mid-air, and charges straight back toward Goroki. "So this is your power," Zalama says coldly. "But tell me, what will it truly accomplish?" His eyes burn with challenge. "Show me everything you've got." As those words leave his mouth, Zalama pushes his dragon energy to its absolute limit. Behind him, an enormous golden dragon begins to materialize. Its massive form dominates the sky, eyes blazing with divine fury. With a single roar, the heavens themselves tremble. Kura whispers in disbelief. "So this is the true form of the dragon god." Kaido speaks quietly, his voice heavy with fear. If he fully awakens, he could plunge the entire multiverse into chaos. Goroki's expression changes. The smile disappears completely. For the first time, his face turns cold and serious. "It seems," Goroki says calmly, "I'll have to stop holding back as well." He raises his sword toward the sky. Instantly, black and silver energy begins to coil around the blade, twisting violently as it gathers, growing denser with every second. Zalama senses it and narrows his eyes. This energy, it feels like an Omni King. Goroki answers in a low, steady voice. "Exactly." A pause. "And now you understand." His eyes sharpen. "I've already gone far beyond that." In the next instant, both of them charge forward at full speed. Dragon energy and divine power collide head-on. A colossal explosion erupts, tearing through the battlefield and further destabilizing the dimension. The clash doesn't stop. Punch after punch, kick after kick, neither of them holding back for even a moment. The fight becomes relentless, unforgiving. As the battle rages, Goroki thinks to himself, "If he keeps pushing me like this, I won't have a choice. I'll have to reveal my true level." Suddenly, Goroki leaps backward, creating distance. The moment he retreats, Zalama becomes strangely calm. Something feels wrong. Zalama narrows his eyes. Why did he pull back just now? Then it happens. Goroki extends both hands forward. Between his palms, a swirling sphere of energy begins to form. This power feels different, unnatural, as if creation and destruction themselves are sealed within it. In a calm, chilling voice, Goroki speaks. "You are the dragon god, so this attack is meant only for you." With those words, he hurls the energy straight towards Zalama. As the blast approaches, the entire dimension trembles violently once again. But Zalama does not panic. Without fear, he raises both of his hands. Behind him, the golden dragon grows even larger, its overwhelming presence dominating everything around it. Zalama roars, "Dragon God Barrier!" In the next instant, the dragon spreads its massive wings wide. A divine shield forms before Zalama. Goroki's blast crashes directly into the barrier. A catastrophic explosion follows. The shockwave is so powerful that Kura and Kaido are forced to retreat even farther back. Kura stares in disbelief. He actually blocked Goroki's attack. Kaido is visibly shaken. That barrier just endured an Omni King level strike. Slowly, The energy fades. The smoke begins to clear. And there he stands. Zalama, completely upright. His clothes are slightly damaged, but his stance is firm, unshaken, ready to continue. Zalama looks straight at Goroki and speaks coldly. That's all? If you truly wish to become the Omni King, you'll need far more power than this. This is not enough. Goroki remains silent for a moment. Then he starts to laugh. Not amused laughter. Dark, dangerous. You're really forcing my hand, Goroki says. In the next instant, he raises his sword once more. But this time, it doesn't merely emit light. A strange, unfamiliar energy begins to pour from Goroki's sword. Space itself starts to warp and twist around the blade, bending unnaturally as if it can no longer hold its shape. Kaido panics. That technique. Kura's face turns grim. That looks like a forbidden Omni art. Goroki raises his voice with absolute authority. Omnis. He swings his sword. A horrifying slash tears forward, not merely cutting through the air, but slicing straight through space and time itself. The fabric of reality splits apart as the attack surges towards Zalama. Zalama's eyes narrow instantly. Without hesitation, he gathers every ounce of his power and roars. Golden Dragon manifest. In the next moment, the dragon behind him fully awakens. The massive golden dragon comes completely to life, unleashing a thunderous roar that shakes the entire dimension. It charges head-on toward Goroki's slash. The Omnis slash and the golden dragon collide. A devastating impact explodes outward, sending shockwaves ripping across the battlefield. Both forces are pushed back violently from the collision. Zalama stands there, breathing heavily. And for the first time, Goroki looks truly serious. Zalama locks his eyes onto him. Now, do you understand? This fight was never going to be easy for you. Goroki slowly replies, his voice steady. You're absolutely right. And that's exactly what I wanted. Hey. Suddenly, Goroki closes his eyes. The violent energy around him begins to fade. Kura looks confused. What is he doing? Kaido frowns. The battle is at its peak. Why would he suppress his power now? Then Goroki opens his eyes. The instant he does, the entire battlefield falls into complete silence. No wind, no sound. Even the air itself feels frozen. The sudden calm puts Zalama on edge. This silence. Something is wrong. Goroki stands perfectly still. There is no blazing aura around him anymore. Yet somehow, his presence feels heavier than ever before. In a low, controlled voice, he speaks. Power isn't just about screaming or firing massive blasts. He looks straight at Zalama. Sometimes the most dangerous power is completely silent. Kura's expression tightens with fear. He whispers to Kaido, "This feels just like Omni King Zeno." Kaido nods slowly. "You're right. I can feel that pressure." Goroki calmly raises his hand. This time, there is no light, no visible ki blast. Only a faint vibration. In the next instant, space shatters behind Zalama. Zalama turns immediately, but Goroki is already gone. Before he can react, Goroki appears directly above him. "What?" Zalama shouts. Too late. Goroki drives a devastating kick straight into Zalama's chest. Zalama is slammed downward at full force, crashing deep into the ground. Kura stares in shock. No blast, yet that attack was terrifying. Zalama stabilizes himself with his energy and rises back into the air. His eyes burn with rage as he stares at Goroki. "So, you've changed your fighting style." Goroki replies calmly, his voice low. "Because now you're beginning to understand. This battle isn't just about raw power." As he speaks, Goroki raises a finger and draws a small circle in the air. Inside it, a strange symbol begins to rotate. Kaido panics. "That symbol." Kura's eyes widen. "That's the Omni Seal." Zalama's eyes widen in shock. "You can't use the Omni Seal." Goroki gives a faint smile. "Who said I can't? I can do this because I'm no longer bound by any rules." In the next moment, the symbol expands violently. The entire area begins to compress inward as if reality itself is forming an invisible cage around Zalama. Zalama releases his energy. But something is wrong. His power feels suppressed. Enraged, he roars, "You're limiting my strength, coward." Goroki looks at him calmly. "I'm simply reminding you who's in control here." Behind Zalama, the golden dragon roars once more. Zalama clenches his fists. "No matter what happens, I am the dragon god. I will not lose." With everything he has, he charges straight at Goroki. Once again, they rush toward each other head-on. But the moment Zalama moves at full power, the Omni Seal erupts with blinding light. Reality itself feels tightly gripped. Zalama's speed suddenly drops. His eyes widen. What just happened? He reaches forward, but his movements slow unnaturally. His strength restrained by an unseen force, pressing down on him from every direction. Goroki looks at him in silence. Then, without raising his voice, he speaks with absolute certainty. The Omni Seal doesn't just restrain power, it governs existence itself. Kura's face turns pale. He glances at Kaido and speaks quietly, almost in fear. If that's true, then this is the first time Zalama has ever faced something capable of truly binding him. Behind Zalama, the golden dragon roars even louder, spreading its massive wings across the sky. Zalama shouts in defiance, "No matter what you do, you cannot bind a dragon god." As those words leave his mouth, Zalama begins compressing his dragon energy even further. The divine power around him condenses violently. The true form of the dragon god starts manifesting directly in front of his body, as if his very existence is being reforged. His eyes burn brighter than ever before. Kaido panics. He's condensing his divine form. Kura adds gravely, "At this level, the dragon god turns himself into a weapon. He becomes a living divine armament." In the next instant, Zalama slams his foot into the ground. The impact shakes the Omni Seal violently. For a brief moment, the seal trembles. Then Zalama explodes forward at full speed, charging straight toward Goroki once again. For the first time, Goroki looks slightly surprised. Inside his mind, a single thought forms. He awakened even further under the pressure of the seal. Zalama appears directly in front of him and unleashes a merciless storm of punches and kicks. Each strike crashes with terrifying force. With every hit, cracks begin spreading across the Omni Seal itself. Goroki blocks each blow, but for the first time, he's forced to step back. Zalama roars, "Now, do you see? A dragon god cannot be suppressed, and I won't be stopped so easily." With those words, Zalama launches a devastating uppercut. The blow sends Goroki flying upward, his body crashing backward through the air. Kura's eyes widen in shock. He actually hit Goroki. Kaido mutters in disbelief. It looks like this battle has finally reached equal ground. Midair, Goroki regains his balance. A faint smile appears on his face. "That was impressive," he says calmly. "This is the moment I've been waiting for." As he speaks, Goroki places his hand over his chest. A strange, overwhelming light begins to leak from within his body. Kura tries to speak, but before he can finish, Goroki shouts with authority, "Omnicore, release!" A massive explosion erupts. The Omni Seal begins to shatter violently, fragments of distorted space breaking apart around them. Zalama skids backward, staring at Goroki in shock. Around Goroki now, it's no longer just raw power. It's authority. In a low voice, Zalama speaks. This power, only the Omni King possesses it. Goroki looks straight at him. "That's exactly why I told you. I am the Omni King." Slowly, Goroki raises a single finger. As it rises, a strange, chilling wind spreads across the battlefield. This wind isn't natural. It carries judgment itself, as if a final decision has already been made. Zalama locks eyes with him. For the first time, fear flashes across Zalama's face. Quietly, he speaks. "So, this is your decision." Without blinking, Goroki answers, "Yes. Now you finally understand this battle, and your existence." Goroki slowly lowers his finger. In the next instant, from the sky itself, a terrifying Omniforce descends. It isn't just light, it carries judgment. Zalama gathers every last ounce of his power. Behind him, the golden dragon roars with overwhelming fury, spreading its massive wings across the torn sky. Zalama screams at the top of his lungs, "Golden Dragon, final roar." The dragon opens its mouth and unleashes a roar so powerful it shakes all of creation itself. Dragon, God energy, and Omni authority collide head-on. The resulting explosion is so immense that the entire dimension begins to tear apart, as if reality itself can no longer survive their clash. Kura and Kaido are hurled far away, their bodies crashing violently into the shattered ruins. The impact leaves the land trembling. Kura screams in terror. This collision, there's nothing more horrifying than this. Within the raging clash of energies, cracks begin to spread across Zalama's body. His form starts breaking apart, piece by piece. Behind him, the golden dragon roars even louder, as if refusing to abandon its master until the very end. Then, Goroki's voice echoes through the collapsing dimension. "Zalama, you were a terrifying force, but you belong to an era, and every era must come to an end." In the next instant, the Omni Force intensifies beyond measure. Zalama's body shatters completely. His voice fades as he cries out one final time, "No, Golden Dragon." And just like that, Zalama's existence is erased. Suddenly, everything goes silent. No roars, no explosions. Only remnants of Golden Dragon energy drift quietly through the air. Kura and Kaido stare in disbelief. Kaido whispers, "The Dragon God has been defeated." Slowly, the remaining golden energy begins to move, flowing toward Goroki. Goroki extends his hand. He absorbs the entire power of the Golden Dragon into his body. At that very moment, a massive golden dragon manifests behind him. But this dragon is no longer Zalama's. It belongs to Goroki. Goroki's eyes turn gold, shining with divine authority. An overwhelming pressure erupts from his presence alone. Kura mutters in shock. "So that means..." Kaido finishes the thought. "The golden dragon has a new master." Behind Goroki, the golden dragon roars once, then lowers its head, bowing in acknowledgement of its true ruler. Goroki speaks calmly. This unmatched power is mine now. He takes a single step forward. Space itself bends beneath his feet. The golden dragon's energy responds instantly, completely under his control. Behind him, the massive dragon opens its eyes. Kura and Kaido remain frozen, unable to move. Shaking. Kura whispers, "This pressure, it's even more terrifying than Zalama's ever was." Kaido takes a slow breath. Now I understand why he called himself the Omni King, because he truly is one. There is no power beyond this. Goroki slowly raises his head. In his eyes now is not just strength, but the calm certainty of a ruler. Zalama's power was incomplete, Goroki says. He merely controlled the golden dragon. But I have become it. As his words end, the golden dragon roars violently. Its voice echoes across the entire dimension, sending shattered debris flying in every direction. Kura speaks in awe. This isn't just power. This is a ruler's declaration. Goroki extends his hand forward. At his command, the golden dragon opens its mouth. But there is no attack. Only a silent warning. Goroki says calmly, "I'm glad to see you both survive this battle." Kaido steps forward respectfully. "Goroki, we are grateful you've reached this level. What are your orders? We are ready to follow whatever you command." Goroki looks down at them. There is no emotion on his face. "For now," he says, "there are no orders." Kura looks shocked. "What do you mean?" Goroki steps forward and clenches his fist. The golden dragon's energy sinks deeper into his body. "I want to test this power." In the very next moment, Goroki releases only a tiny fraction of his energy. Just a fraction, yet distant dimensions begin to tremble simultaneously. Cracks spread across the sky itself. Kura screams, "Stop, Goroki! This could cause unimaginable destruction. You already possess absolute power." But Goroki silences him instantly. In a cold, controlled voice, he says, "Be quiet, Kura. What's wrong? Are you afraid? Don't worry. I won't kill you." The golden dragon lets out a low growl as if agreeing with its master. Goroki closes his eyes briefly. Everything feels frozen. Then he opens them again. There is no anger, no joy, no mercy, only judgment. Behind him, the golden dragon spreads its wings fully. Goroki speaks once more. "The golden dragon was never just power, it was balance. And now, balance is in my hands." Suddenly, far away, deep within the depths of space, something stirs. An unfamiliar movement, as if something has not yet ended. Kura's eyes widen in shock. "Wait." Kaido steps forward, stunned. This energy, it doesn't feel like Goroki's. The entire area begins to shake violently. Even the golden aura wavers for just a brief moment. Goroki suddenly freezes. Slowly, he turns around. Shock spreads across his face. Under his breath, he whispers, "No, this can't be what I'm thinking." Kaido looks at him nervously. "Hey, Goroki, is this your power?" Kura immediately shakes his head. "No, this isn't his power." At that very moment, a new Saiyan appears directly in front of Goroki. Space itself bends unnaturally around this figure, as if reality is struggling to remain intact in his presence. Goroki lowers his head at once, his posture turning respectful. "So, you've finally chosen to appear," he says quietly. "I was just about to inform you, Lord Gorama. Now his name is revealed. Gorama." Gorama looks down at Goroki, his gaze cold and unforgiving. "So the task I assigned you," he says slowly, "you actually completed it." His eyes narrow. And yet you didn't think it was necessary to report back to me. The pressure intensifies. Tell me, Goroki. Gorama continues. Were you considering betraying me? Or have you forgotten who I am? Did this small taste of power blind you? Goroki answers immediately, his voice firm but controlled. No, Lord Gorama, that's not the case. Gorama lets out a faint smirk. Good, and it better remain that way. His voice hardens. You should remember one thing very clearly. You are nothing more than a pawn, and every pawn exists to follow my commands. He steps closer. I know you hunger for power. I understand that desire. But never forget, if you even think about stepping out of line, you cannot imagine what I will do to you. His eyes burn with certainty. You are not special. There are others just like you. I've sent them to different corners of countless multiverses. Gorama turns away. For now, I'll be leaving. There are far more important matters that require my attention. He pauses mid-step. But I expect to hear from you soon, after you complete your next task. Then, without turning back, Gorama speaks with absolute confidence. From this moment onward, nothing can stop us from building our empire. Not gods, not angels. No one possesses the power to erase the empire of Lord Gorama. His presence grows heavier. And now, after 5,000 years, we will no longer rule just one multiverse. We will rule all multiverses. The air becomes unbearably heavy. Silence follows. And then Lord Gorama vanishes, leaving behind a truth far more terrifying than any battle that has come before.